Nice and spooky.
The spookiest of all. The almost
Empty
glass.
What if John's head just exploded right now?
I think there'd be a part of me that wouldn't be surprised.
We go down the hall.
Nice.
Sorry.
What?
What? Oh, wait. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Take a look.
It's in a book.
It's in my nook.
Oh,
my.
my.
Tom Nook's
Tom Nook.
Animal Crossing.
Why does our caption say In-N-Out Burger?
In-N-Out Burger, it's in mine.
So there's a
Oh man, wait.
there's an empty box of Triscuits over in that bin, and I thought the way that it's angled and kind of cut off from by the table, I thought it was just a huge box of Triscuits, and I was gonna be like, wow, you found that in Costco? Like, I was so impressed. I thought it was like this big.
Meanwhile, I'm now concerned that our closed captions are visible during pre-show and that people have been reading the
It's not.
nonsense
No,
that we
okay.
have been spewing.
I would
pretty sure
never
we
say
would have heard
anything
by now.
about you in the chat.
No.
But it's the insults that we trade amongst each other.
And I was
The
reading
filth.
from an erotic book just before we went live. Like, it's
I think you were writing from an erotic book. Were you not?
a little column A, a little column B.
Yeah, a little bit of
planking going on.
A
editorializing.
little bit of planking.
I do not think you mean what you think you mean. Well, welcome.
That time I
no.
green carded when a Tyrannosaur plowed me in the butt.
By Chuck Tingle. Oh boy. Loomba will be fine. do
Lumba's
you
not
mean
technically the one who pokes Discord.
Completely different butt.
Yeah.
Needs to go home.
Yeah, that
Think
bot
about
does
what it
need to go
did.
away.
It's like Lumba adjacent in that it's called Luma Fate, but
Floomba.
with sidereals coming out.
Bloomba.
Do we need to upgrade? Do we need to like flesh out the history?
I'll build
of Lumba and
another
so on?
butt.
No, wait, no, hang on. Oh wow. There it is. Thanks, Aragwen. You love to see that. That's a good one. Oh man, I read 2612 and I was like, we streamed on Boxing Day one year. Like, that does sound like early RPG Clinic
Can we
wildness.
turn it down a little bit more, Jeffney? Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
This music is too cool.
It's too cool for me. It's
welcome.
making me too cool.
Well, it
Oh,
should
is
also
it?
be angled away from this.
Thank you. Now you can do what you will.
Yeah, Kung Fu Fenris. That is good to hear. I haven't had a look myself. I haven't had an opportunity. Oh no. He's so meow about it
Unfortunately,
though.
well, yeah, we're looking at backer
Number
numero
one.
uno.
That's right. That's right. As all
Arguably,
things
the
should
Sidereal's greatest nemesis is also,
And also the greatest
their
fan.
greatest
Yeah,
supporter.
exactly.
he has to know his enemy.
Yes,
I
exactly.
feel like there are so many fans that would have that were so ready to smash the button the second I went live, and then Kung Fu Fenris was like, yeah, sure, whatever.
And now he has to carry that with him for the rest of
I
his
like
life.
the implication that someone is going to call and be like, hey, so you're the first backer, so we're going to throw this thing in your honor, and it's going to be like a sidereal named after you, whatever, like all this.
Erect a sidereal statue.
Yeah. A sidereal. In the gates of Yushan, there is a single statue of Kung Fu Fenris. Anyway, we're not really here to talk about sidereals.
We're not?
They're
No.
just here to talk about us.
Could you mute me so I can refill my?
Oh, right. Forgot about that. We are here to talk about us.
Thank you.
We're here to talk about what we're doing tonight, which is, welcome back, of course, one and all, to RPG Clinic's Blades in the Dark mini campaign. Yeah, because we're scamps. Mini campaign, Whispers in the Water. Hi.
Hello.
How's it going on that side of the room?
I'm too busy staring down Kung Fu Fenris.
Oh,
Is it working?
Mini
Do you think
scams.
it's working? Yeah, you know what? Don't say if it's working, John. That's how you know it is. Good, good, good.
What?
That's how I always lose staring contests. I'm always
I
like,
see.
is it working? It's not particularly useful. I mean, I feel like I should Alex Horn this and prepare some banter. I never have any
Ordinary chit
banter.
chat.
Yeah, very ordinary chit chat. So I started a new job.
Oh. And Alex, what new job did you start this week?
I count chickens before they hatch.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yes.
Anyway,
Anyway, that's it. Yeah. Oh, amazing.
You beat me, Kung Fu Fenris, just like you beat everyone else at ordering sidereals.
Swoosh, nothing but net. That's also what I sound like when I. Anyway.
Wang John!
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Wang John!
That is what Scott sounds like.
That is, probably sounds about right.
Swag.
Swag.
Swiggity, swiggity, swag. Anyway.
Swiggity swatty.
He's
Going for that.
Scotty.
Oh, yeah, there it is. That's the ticket. Well, yeah, I don't really have much to report. Of course, we're here for another session of Blades in the Dark tonight, which I'm very excited about. After the session, you can join us as we talk experience, as we talk what we learned, as we talk about the upcoming week of streams here in the RPG Clinic community, because it is shifting around, or at least my stuff's shifting around a little bit right now. But I mean, like, do we have any like news that we need to report before we dive in?
We have to gain a new special ability for our shadow crew,
Do we?
which we had
Do
not.
we have XP?
Yeah,
we
it rolled over.
We
Nice.
rolled it over. Yes.
I didn't realize that.
I see we are taking the obstacles up a notch. Ellie Spot, hello and
Excuse
welcome.
me.
What?
Yeah,
Challenges,
because last
don't worry
session
about
went so
it.
well.
It went so well. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, our
You guys
double
are-
ones on our engagement roll.
That was
Fuck
that was
yeah.
literally fantastic. I was perfection, and I think we knew it.
We made up for our double sixes the last time,
That's
you
true.
know?
So there's two that I want to suggest. There's second story, which is when you execute a clandestine infiltration, which is always, you get an extra die to the engagement roll.
No.
Or
That
when you
rewrites the
perform a
campaign.
group action, you may count multiple sixes from different rolls as a critical success.
Oh, I like that. We do quite a bit of group actions, don't we? But I guess we infiltrate more.
Oh God!
I didn't know what was going on. I would have muted you.
Oh,
Sorry, everyone in the
Sorry,
chat.
ears.
my
Apologies.
God. Oh my God.
You're right,
Jeez.
Jonathan.
Are there duty Kleenex? There's so much.
right here.
Oh, great. Oh my God.
So,
Me too. Kung Fu Fenris. We're in the room, you know?
Holy shit.
That's pretty funny. Is everyone okay out there in chat land?
Oh God. He was back. Shouting back that you were able to articulate words.
Oh, it's honestly fantastic.
so I apologize.
It is okay.
I have a weird thing, and people can back it up.
Yep.
Is that when I sneeze, for some reason in my head, I think I have to say that I'm about to sneeze. And so when I sneeze, I often just end up saying sneeze as I sneeze.
Can confirm. This has happened multiple times.
This has happened a lot. But sometimes I don't necessarily have the message of I'm going to sneeze. This one was, oh God, I have to sneeze. And
It's coming!
I promise you that I don't try to do this intentionally. They can back me up. This happens a lot.
And sometimes it's really cute because he says sneeze, but it sounds like sneasel,
Yes, that has happened as well.
which is very
Yes,
sweet.
sometimes I'm also very cute.
Wow.
Aw.
Oh my God. It just. It's incredible. It was incredible.
Apologies to all people with ears.
Nah, I don't think we need to apologize.
No, never.
Because the thing that John did that I think is really important.
It's a great
is
reaction gift.
It is a great reaction gift, and more so,
Oh God.
John warned us of impending danger, which is
Ooh.
all about
Safety.
safety, and that's what we're all about here.
Did
on
we really fucking
RPG
go
Clinic.
there?
Yeah.
We went there, my friend. Pow! Liz?
Yeah. You know, it's important to communicate with your fellow players and your ST so you can maximize safety and therefore maximize your fun. Our cards have different meanings, and let me run them through. So, green card, play card means that despite outward appearances, I am good to go. I am enthusiastically consenting to this role play. Yellow card is a pause card. Hey everyone, hold up. I need to make the table aware of something. Once I lower the card, we are good to continue. A red card means I am not good to continue. In our case, it often means that we'll go to a BRB screen while we speak amongst ourselves, and we will only resume play if everybody at the table agrees that it's okay. You chatters do not have cards, but you do have options. Some things that you can do is you could message one of our mods. In this case, we have Kung Fu Fenris, our safety wolf. And they can pass along your feedback anonymously if you so choose. You can also whisper RPGClinic. That gets seen by all of us. And then the final thing that you can do is you can leave the chat, turn off the stream. We're of course sad to see you go, but you need to prioritize your safety. You absolutely have to. So we want you to be safe. We want us to be safe. Safety party.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
That's
you.
Awesome. John, can I check in with you? Are you all right?
I sneezled.
Yeah, you sure did. But you sure did, buddy. Hello to you, Requiem. Welcome. Exactly. Safety is key. That's one of the first things we always talk about here on RPG Clinic because it is so important. The other thing that we often talk about is what happened last session because we're playing these mini campaigns. There's stories to be found and to be told. And my question is, what happened last time on Whispers in the Water?
We went to find Mrs. Ward, who had been held by some railjacks in Coleridge, and we dropped in from a train track from up above, and a bit of chaos ensued. In which Maureen tried to talk to people at the front gate. Meanwhile, Waif set some explosions and
summoned a hellhound.
Yes.
Which created enormous chaos. And all of this, in the ensuing chaos, allowed Zane to slip into the facility.
Facility, yeah, sorry.
Once Zane infiltrated the facility, he encountered Mrs. Ward, the publican we were trying to rescue, locked in an electrified cage. Somehow, Zane managed to de-electrify the cage, steal back Mrs. Ward and the battery powering said cage, and make a break for the surface, at which point, during a confrontation between Bluecoats, Railjacks, and these two, Zane managed to throw his grappling hook at a train and carted away Mrs. Ward from everyone else. Of course, the entire experience has left both Thistle and Waif stressed to hell and injured. And meanwhile, Zane, while feeling peachy keen himself, has suffered trauma.
What is the trauma that you suffered this first level?
Zane,
Recklessness.
Planes, and Automobiles will be coming out shortly.
Oh boy,
Zane.
yeah, the tell-all book, the Flyboy of Dust
Or
Balls.
Zane's Trains and Automobiles, I guess, is what we should be doing.
Why was there stress and did we talk about stress and danger and hurt for you two?
It was mostly just that
We were in trouble.
we were doing a lot of
I got shot.
risky things.
Yeah, and Thistle got shot. It's bad news.
Yeah, I was talking to some Bluecoats, which I wasn't. We weren't expecting there to be Bluecoats. So by talking to the people there, I ended up talking to people not anticipated, and they ended up shooting her for being existent.
Basically just being there, yeah. Well, I mean...
Yeah, as Bluecoats do.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Well,
Eb.
Yeah, seriously. Nice, by the way.
I'm just going to also throw this out here. So for my fellow players along with you, I now have trauma. I have trauma that will cause my character to act in a reckless fashion. I don't intend to act in a stupid fashion. I'm not going to just start acting chaotically, but there may be times where I will take actions which won't necessarily be ideal. Just wanted to check in with you about that.
Yeah.
Screen cards.
Comfortable
cards.
with the card
all around.
system.
I'm not intending for my
Enthusiastically
recklessness to necessarily directly affect your characters, but if it does, I'll check in.
If it does, if you could check in, that'd be great.
And
Thank you very much.
capable of informing you if that changes.
There you go.
Yay!
Thank you very much, John. Thank you for that.
Or like catchphrases.
Do we want to decide whether we want the multiple sixes from group actions or the better engagement rolls?
I think the better engagement.
Yeah, better engagement, yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So second story, when you execute a clandestine
You're just thinking of the
infiltration,
others.
you get +1 die to the engagement roll.
That seems really
It
good.
seems really good.
We make those rolls every time, without fail.
No.
So that seems good.
Well, I guess I'm not just going to give you any engagement rolls now. You just don't get any, okay?
Cool.
You start with nothing.
Scott, is my pencil on my desk?
Probably.
Pencil on your desk.
Is this a pencil?
Yep. that
Yes,
is
sir.
pencil. You can just toss it.
Here we go. So, sorry.
I lost it in the light.
Yeah. I was aiming for not the glass, so I'm glad that didn't happen. John, as long as you're looking at that sheet there, the crew sheet, can you do me a little favor? You guys executed a successful score.
We did.
The successful score was technically against, quote unquote, the wraiths. Oh, okay. I wonder what it is. Getting a milk run or are things going to get effed up? Kung Fu Fenris, I feel like a milk run could be a lot of fun, potentially, right? Depends on what it is. I don't know. Do you have the sheet there, Liz? Do you mind doing it for me, actually? Just marking some stuff on there?
Sure.
The score was a success. You got Mrs. Ward back. You didn't necessarily take anything from the wraiths per se, other than, a hideout that they've been spending coin on. So you can mark 2 rep, which I believe is at the top on the left there.
Thank you.
What did it be against?
Oh, that actually bleeds into turf. That shouldn't.
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine, because your turf would, if you had more, it would reduce how much rep you need to level up.
Gotcha.
Your good. And actually, sorry, mark 1 more. That's my mistake. There should be 1 more for executing an operation against both the wraiths and kind of the blue coats and so on. However, if we recall, the way you left the old train yard in Coleridge was aflame, with a couple people screaming. So could you please mark 5 heat? This is a very large-scale operation that, look, there's probably bodies.
Help us.
Unless they were incinerated. Which is possible.
So that leaves us with 1 heat remaining before we have to up our wanted level, I believe.
Correct. If you take more than 9 heat, it does roll over to your next level, so you can't kind of game it so that you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, wanted level doesn't mean necessarily bad things. It means you're wanted, but they're not necessarily going to just like come and throw you out of Duskfall right away. Not necessarily. I am going to look at some... Yeah, let's do it. Let's look at some downtime actions. I'm going to start with Thistle.
I'm going to reduce stress.
By indulging your vice.
Sorry, I'm going to indulge my vice and recover. That's what they're called.
Absolutely. Recovery will, of course, start a 4-segment clock for you. Once you fill all 4 segments, you may reduce... Yeah, you have it there on your sheet, right? You may reduce your highest level of hurt down a level, essentially. You downgrade. So your bruised ribs? I can't remember what we called it.
Cracked rib.
Cracked rib will downgrade to probably just like bruised or something.
Yeah.
Would you like to roll your vice indulgence first, or do you want your physical to roll?
Whichever. You've got your dice in hand.
I'm ready if you are.
Yeah.
So I get 1 additional roll, or 1 additional die. So that's Tinker, which is 4. Oh my god. Highest is 4. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. That marks 2 segments on the clock.
Sweet.
There you go.
You're halfway.
I wish it was better.
So I would imagine that Waif is able to sort of at least set the damage, but it's going to take time to heal. And then, indulging a vice, I believe, is the other thing. So you roll your lowest attribute.
Yep.
Which is 2, I think. Do you have...
1. Oh, yeah, 1.
Yeah.
But I did level up to have a functioning vice, so I get to adjust my die roll.
That's right. So this is a spider... Oh, no, I'll let you describe it. I'll let you roll it first.
Well, when I indulge my vice, I may adjust the dice outcome by 1 or 2, up or down. An ally who joins me in my vice may do the same. Roll a 2, but I'm going to say I rolled a 4.
I like the sounds of that.
Amazing.
This is good. Spiders are a playbook that are all about planning ahead, calculating, and being cunning, right? So the idea of indulging your vice and knowing exactly how to make sure that you don't overindulge, preparing yourself for the trials and tribulations ahead. Love that. How are you doing on stress, by the way? That feels pretty full
I'm
stress
down to
reduction.
4, so I recovered half of my stress.
That's good, I think. Did you want to take an additional action by spending a coin? I know there was like talk of doing that. No. Okay, great.
I
That's what figured.
misunderstood the whole system, so I thought I had to spend XP to do these actions, and thus I hadn't spent any XP, which is why I suddenly have a new ability.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
But we communicate and we learn, and this is good. I'll move on down then to Zane. John?
All right, so I want to train in prowess.
Yeah.
That means that I can get a new dot.
Incredible.
Should I be increasing my finesse from 1 to 2, my prowl from 3 to 4, my skirmish from 2 to 3, or get my first dot in wreck? I feel like we're covered in a lot of ways, but
And having 4 dots in
Is reckless.
should I just be the prowl king?
If you
Senor
get another
Prowl.
dot in prowl and you lead an action,
Yes.
what does that like? Does
It
that mean
means-
you're rolling 4?
It means that I'm rolling 4 dice. Well, it means that if I succeed and you fail, I just take stress, but then you also succeed.
So okay.
So
It
prowl
gives you
will
a better
help
chance
us.
of succeeding on prowl rolls.
You know
and
what?
Group prowl rolls.
Yes, last session prowl ended up being so useful.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna max out prowl and
Yep.
see what happens.
Lucky Prince of Prowl. I like that, Requiem Lost. This is good. We can start figuring out some nice names for yourself.
All right, and then for my second action, I'm going to try to chase some heat.
Yeah, that seems like a good plan. Now, there are many ways to do this, right? Heat is sort of a generalized measure of how much attention is on your crew at the moment. So there's lots of ways of trying to disperse that. Certainly, laying low is something that you would probably do anyway. So what action are you taking to be able to try to reduce heat?
Well, acrobatics is really good.
prowl? Can I prowl my way through
I
the...
mean, I could start knocking some heads, but I don't think that's going to help either.
God.
Uh,
Depends on which heads you knock, honestly.
I could spread some gold around. We are currently maxed out on our ability to hold gold.
We do have to spend 1 for me,
Yeah.
That's fine.
but yeah.
I have dots in sway. I can try to convince people that it wasn't us, which goes against my vice, so I don't think that's happening. I can...
Wasn't so bad. That it was justified. That all of 6 towers should be thankful for us, because so you could still sway, just not that it wasn't us.
I'm going to try to convince people that it's the blue blood, the blue coats, that people should be looking out for instead of us.
You were essentially manipulating people into believing that the actions... You're taking the heat off of you by pointing the finger at one of the larger,
right.
more notorious
I'm attempting to
gangs.
sway people to
Dustfall.
think that way.
I love that. Yeah, great.
I think you have a button to close info box.
Oh, is it still there?
Yeah, it's been
Thank
sitting
you.
there for a while.
Oh boy. Oh, it's because I was looking at maps and stuff. That's
No, but audience safety just decided to stay put for some reason.
Okay. Thank you.
Rude.
Let's do it.
I failed.
Oh.
I rolled a 3.
Reduce heat according to the following result. 1.
All right, well, better than nothing.
So exactly right.
Yeah.
Like heat is reduced.
It's not nothing.
Poof.
Let me just say that the heat, literal heat coming off of the old train yard is not so easily put out.
Can our next score just be like
Stay at home.
circulating
Left it, please.
casseroles to the community? Like,
Soup kitchen.
Legitimately, you could attempt to acquire new either turf or a specific thing from your map, which might be there. We would... Oh, there it is. Which then have abilities later on. They don't take heat away from you, though, Liz. So I'm just... But the idea of, like, can I do good in the community is... It could be a score. Taking possession of a business.
how about just something that doesn't give us more heat? The charity casserole heist. Exactly, Orgia. Thank you.
The Robin Hood move, right? Steal from the rich, give to the poor.
Probably win you some friends.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for your downtime actions. Liz, I'll move over to Waif. What's
So Waif does need to heal, and because healing herself would involve taking 2 stress, which she really doesn't want to do, she would like to spend a coin to ask one of her clever friends to heal her, Stasia, the apothecary.
Yeah. Ooh, jeez. Sorry, wrong thing. Yeah, I mean, the apothecary, Stasia, aka Saltpeter, right, is not a physiker by trade, but of course she has some, competence in the healing arts.
What bone do?
Oh, God.
What do these bones do here? Okie dokie. I'm going to make a couple of rolls, and I'll let you know how the clock is progressing.
Great, thank you.
Let's do this. Okay.
God.
That was a 1.
It was something. It's fine.
It was a 1.
It's a 1 or a 6, that's for sure. Whatever's,
And then I'm going to point out, this is a new clock, if I'm not mistaken, Liz, right? You're starting at the, well, in fact, yeah, you took new wounds, so in fact it is a new thing.
Yeah.
That was also a 1 that I saw there.
There's another result here.
For God's sake.
You may mark 2 segments
all right.
on your healing clock. Stasia, aka Saltpeter, is more enthusiastic than she is competent.
No, for God's sake.
Well, I mean, sorry, actually, I suppose just as competent as you were at setting.
Yeah, but I'm also
cracked rib.
covered in burns, so I have an excuse.
Look, she rubbed some soothing ointments on you, and she was like, that's fine. Good.
So that's one thing.
Yes.
The other thing is I desperately need to indulge my vice because I am 2 stress away from being full up. So I did roll for this in advance,
Yes,
which
you
you
did.
let me do. So I'm removing 3 stress from indulging my vice.
Why don't we talk a little bit about... That's fine. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what Waif's method of indulging her vice is?
Well, she's going to go on a date.
That sounds so nice.
She's a really,
Yes.
she's a dinner date planned.
6 Towers, Liz, as you know, of course, it's the neighborhood where the 3-legged goat is located, as well as your hidden lair. 6 Towers is an old residential neighborhood, once considered palatial, upper class, maybe not palatial, but certainly well-to-do. Now, again, as people moved out to other neighborhoods, it has become run down. It's become dark. Well, like everything, I suppose. The cobblestone streets are cracked. Weeds grow up between them. But you know the right path to take to avoid turning your ankle as you head from your hidden lair to the Cloven Hoof.
So from the 3-legged goat to
The Cloven Hoof, yes, and I will accept no, there will be no questions at this time. Thank you very much.
The dueling goat taverns?
Well, maybe not. The Cloven Hoof is what I would sort of describe as a relatively upscale bistro, or was.
Yeah, but all I can think of is that this bistro tore a limb off our goat, and now they have
God.
just the cloven
because it's a
hoof.
3-legged, yeah, of course, yeah, and it was.
Nice.
I mean, why do you think it's called?
Kill them.
I like to think there is history between these people. I should say it was a relatively upscale bistro, much like the rest of 6 Towers. It was abandoned long ago. The door, windows boarded up, the door slightly ajar, dust, motes pouring throughout the room. But Waif, when you enter...
Oh, regain your motes.
Yes.
I like that.
Da-na-na-na-na.
When you enter, in the dead center of the room, at a round table covered in an old checkered cloth, which is, it is much worse for wear. On the far side of the table, at the table, there are several candelabras with candles lit. And there are 2 plates, silverware laid out for you. Again, the silverware has also seen better days. There is food on one plate, the plate where there is no one sitting. It appears to be some sort of a classic Duskfallian mushroom stew, essentially. On the other side of the table, the dish is empty. The silverware is untouched. Sitting on the far side of the table is a ghost, a spirit. He is dressed in relative finery. He seems somewhat uncomfortable in his finery, but more comfortable now that he's dead, probably.
Don't give me that look.
The ghost does his best impression of standing and bowing as you enter the restaurant, and he indicates the table.
You look nice.
Thank you, my dear. It is wonderful to see you again.
Sit down.
The man contemplates you with shrewd but kind eyes. It has been a long time.
I'm sorry. Every time we would have one job to do, that would escalate, and then Mrs. Ward got taken away, and we had to go to the train yard, and we had to get her back, and I summoned a hellhound.
Did you? Mm-hmm. Your use of your methods of interacting with the ghost field are becoming stronger. I can feel it. Mm-hmm. Can you feel me? He reaches out to you. You cannot physically feel him. I mean, not at this point, right?
I do want to do a check, because this is kind of skeevy. How are you feeling, John? Okay, cool.
Yeah, he reaches out his hand, and you can't. You can interact with it, and it feels like kind of light electrical tingling right against your skin, but you can't physically interact with him.
I kind of do this thing where I trace around the outside of his hand a few times.
He shivers a little bit and smiles, He likes it. He puts his head in his hand.
So that's why it's been a while.
Mm.
But I brought you a book.
A book? Mm-hmm. It does get very lonely here.
The Ghost Field of the Heart. I stole it.
He puts one finger up. Is this a romantic novel?
I think it might be.
And would he know you as Waif, or would he know you as Ollie Anning?
Ollie.
Right, of course.
Call me Ollie.
And, he smiles. Ollie, I didn't know you thought of me that way. He's joking. Sorry, he is joking.
She definitely takes a stitch. So what?
No, I kid.
Okay, because there's a lot of candles at this table, and I thought that implied a certain level of romance.
It does. I've missed you.
I've missed you too.
Why did you select this book for me?
Well, it was the only one that I could take under the circumstances.
I understand. Reading material can be hard to come by here in Six Towers. I love the sound of your voice. Oh.
I like your eyes.
They are a deep blue, much like the red. Like a normal goat.
That's the other pub.
John.
The normal goat.
Yeah, the normal goat. It's like it's like an upscale kind of establishment. His eyes are a piercing blue, much like the rest of his body, which is really terrifying. He laughs lightly and motions to a bottle of wine on the table. He cannot offer to pour you any.
How did he make the meal?
That's an excellent question, Liz, and one we will not be going into right now. I think it's safe to assume someone
Just scared the shit out of some poor bastard who has to you gotta make me a romantic meal. Okay.
Okay, mister. The four-legged greatest of all time.
She does pour herself some wine. She cheekily pours him a glass too. Mm-hmm. It's like a running joke.
Yeah, of course. He pretends to swirl his, and he leans back and closes his eyes. There is nothing in this life or my previous that matches the feeling of hearing you read. Your voice pronouncing words and feelings and thoughts. Paint me a vision, Ollie.
Okay, well, I'm a little embarrassed. The Ghost Field of the Heart. Chapter 1.
Oh, we're starting on page 1, okay. Is everyone okay with this being the whole session? I'm kidding, please. Sorry.
Attuned to you. I woke up in a bed that was not my own, on a plane that was not my own. My eyes fluttered open. I looked to my left. Space. I looked to the right. Space. Or was it? There was a warm form next to me. Or was it? I reached out my hand, thinking I could, but no. It connected with nothing, and it was cold. Is this how you feel when you wake up in the morning?
The ghost opens his eyes. Ardry, yeah?
Yeah.
He opens his eyes and just nods. The description is not perfect, but there are some parts of it that I feel very deeply, yes. And he goes to reach across the table and caress your cheek. He can't actually physically make contact with you, but there's sort of an electric tingle as the ghost field and you interact.
Oh my God.
Liz, what this is the way that Waif is indulging her vice.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything else that is going to be happening? I mean, are you going out for ice cream, I guess is what I'm saying.
No, but I think a thing that she does, and I certainly don't need to play this out, is I think the kissing that isn't kissing is definitely something that she tries to do. Even though they're not connecting, the holding hands that's not holding hands, she'll pretend to feed him food, and she will continue reading this book to him.
Okay.
And she doesn't really pay attention to what time it is.
Yeah.
So if, maybe she lowers stress and loses out on some sleep.
Hours come and go. It's almost as if time stands still in the cloven hoof. And I think
Best date ever.
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
For anyone else who's in the cloven hoof, is there anyone in the cloven hoof?
No, it is abandoned.
Okay, it's completely abandoned.
Yeah,
all right.
correct.
So, not the poor bastard who had to make the whole thing. It's still there.
No.
Okay.
Now, that isn't to say that one day someone might wander in and see
Her reading a romantic book aloud with two face things and every once in a while acting like she's getting tinglies.
Yeah. I mean, ghosts are visible as well, right? You don't have to...
Not to everybody, are they?
Well, if they've kind of
chosen
manifested
to manifest
themselves, yeah.
Okay. Is Unchained Melody playing? Is there a pottery wheel?
Not yet. That's a date number 3.
I'm going to invent one. Just for that.
Pottery wheels. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you.
Just wanted to leave that there. Was there any other downtime actions we had to take? I think everyone's
That's it.
Right. Okay, cool. Just making sure. We will then, in that case... Ooh, where are we?
To answer your question, Ellie Spot, no.
I don't think so, yeah.
My darling.
Star-crossed? I don't know how romantic that got.
Relatively.
Not much before
The Jenga tower fell pretty fast, yeah. It was
That was the premature ejaculation.
It was a speed
equivalent.
run. I think it was chapter 2 or something.
Oh, yeah. We fucked up.
So, then, in that case, unless you feel you would be anywhere else, we can find you in the front room of a 3-legged goat. Not the cloven hoof, not the 4-legged greatest of all time. Gathered around your usual table, Mrs. Ward has already brought you, of course, your usual warming drinks and stew presented in bowls made of bread. It is dark, tough rye bread, but it is a bread bowl with soup nonetheless.
Should have rescued a better baker.
Rude.
It's so rude. Well, it's oh man. Yeah, it's tough. Making bread is hard in Duskwall, man. It's hard.
The bread is hard, yes.
It is hard. But the soup, of course, naturally kind of leaks into damn, kind of generous. Yeah, this is where we find you gathered around the table. Perhaps discussing your most recent adventures, perhaps not.
Not much sleep last night?
No. How are you?
Slept like a baby.
You have your bed back now.
What?
Well, I'm not tinkering on your bed anymore. Not cranking my box.
Euphemism? Oh, God. I should ask a quick question. I want to see this some more. Was the cranky box, specifically because you mentioned it, it was to be delivered to Rowan Brace?
Yeah, now we have extra shit. I recorded all the blue coats being shits.
Has that been delivered already, or did you want to physically bring it to him?
That's up to you folks.
I mean, we would have hand delivered it, but whether or not that requires a scene is another thing.
No. Okay.
Did we deliver him also the blue coat stuff, or did we remove that part of the recording? What do
That's
you
up
think?
to Waif, I guess. You're the one who tacked it on.
Yeah, but
there.
you were the one who was featured in the recording. So
I'm not aware the recording exists.
Oh, I tell you.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So actually, maybe we want to play out this scene right now, then, where you're about to
yeah.
inform
Yeah.
Zane that his getaway line is now
I'm not
recorded.
cranking my box on your bed anymore. Hey, speaking of cranky box,
Did we have to use all of those words in that order? It would have cost you nothing.
look, it has an extra recording on it now.
Oh, joy.
Wait,
What of?
why?
I recorded what the blue coats were saying.
The stand over there. Oh, you were trespassing.
Yeah,
All right, you weren't actually trespassing, but we're gonna shoot you anyway. Bam.
yeah.
Okay, who's gonna care?
I don't know. I just thought you'd want to have it. Should we give it to Rowan?
I definitely don't need a memento of getting shot.
Other
I already
than-
have
other
one
than
right
this,
here.
yeah.
We give Rowan that, and we've given him proof that we were there. Even if he doesn't necessarily need it,
true.
someone else could use it against us.
So we keep it?
Keep that to ourselves.
Yeah.
I tinker and remove that part of the recording, putting it in a separate storage box for the cranky box.
Good. There's
Yeah.
a part of me that wants to make you roll, and then if you fail,
But remember,
you
this cranky
erase
box was a
everything, and it's
critical
whole brawl. I know
success. It was
yeah,
really
no,
good.
It was
So many
3
added
6s if I
features.
recall
So many
correctly.
different wax discs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I will say,
super.
as the second that you start telling me that it can kill people, we're out. Like,
Cranky box is cranky. Takes out a little knife.
good. It does need to be delivered. It could, of course, be placed in the hands. I mean, one could hire a cipher to bring it to Rowan if you wanted, or Terrence, the independent delivery boy, or you could deliver it yourselves naturally. You could go back to.
Before we decide what's next,
That's the question.
we don't have any jobs lined up.
A lot of people are looking at us.
Not my favorite.
Damn it.
You're saying that we should be laying low for a while?
I don't know. I feel like if we lay low, then we're just waiting for them to retaliate.
We're close to people actually taking notice of us. People actually giving a damn.
For better or for worse.
What about what? Hey, we need to talk about this. Telda.
We definitely, absolutely do not need to talk. Yes, we have to talk about
Yes,
that.
we have to talk about this. She visited Mrs. Ward every day, and she said the celebrations will be marked with screams and blood, and there won't be room for anyone else in Duskball.
She spends most of her time sitting around in the streets looking like she belongs. Can we trust anything that she has to say?
Well, she didn't say it to us.
The Wraiths feel like people who decided to be different in high school and never grew out of it. Or whatever the equivalent of high school here is.
There's no education. No, it's fine. Yeah.
Celebrations. What celebrations?
We could always just take out some Wraiths.
Because, that's definitely what happened last time. We weren't surprised by railjacks and blue coats. Why were the blue coats there?
Because they're everywhere. Blue coats are always going to be a thorn in our sides.
Remember, there's the gala at the Aruvian ambassadors.
Oh shit.
That's probably tomorrow by
that's
this
important.
point.
2 days.
It's in 2 days' time.
I'd forgotten about that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's somewhere in my notes.
Wave has a cranky
I've got gala.
book to go with her
Vials.
cranky books.
That has to do with the vials. That's where the vials were going to be used. And she took the vials back, so maybe she'll be doing it herself.
Maybe that's what she meant by the celebrations will be marked with screams and blood.
Yeah.
Celebrations
Great. So
again.
do we want to be there and mark ourselves with screams and blood?
I'm tempted to say that we can just leave it to the ciphers. It's their problem. They're the ones who asked us to gather the information. I assume they're going to do something with it. But right now, we've also just stolen back something from them. The Wraiths have no reason to like us, and they may just decide to bring the war to our doorstep. They may even figure out where our doorstep is.
But if we go to the gala, there might be a lot of wraiths there, and if we're tricksy,
We can
Sly.
poison everybody at the gala, just like they're planning on
we
doing.
could maybe take something incriminating from them.
We already have something incriminating on them.
Is it enough?
They're planning
They're
on
fractured. No, it's the bill hooks that are fractured on my.
They're planning on laughing while bathing in the blood of their enemies. I don't think they're going to care that much if we have evidence of that.
Maybe something else that they care about. A gala's full of fancy people carrying fancy things. Maybe we can steal something that they love.
We could try to shut the gala down.
If the ciphers care beyond transmitting messages without reading them, if they care, then
Tell us how you really think this.
could we leverage their assistance somehow?
I guess we have to go talk to Rowan anyway.
Or set them on this path, make them do it instead of us, right?
Let's go talk to Rowan. Let's go find out exactly what their plans are for this. Because if anything, I definitely don't want to be pissing off the ciphers alongside the Wraiths.
Right. We need to stay on somebody's good side. And we're so nice. Why does everyone hate us?
The gondoliers love us.
That's true.
Except that one gondolier who didn't
Like it when I started calling ghosts.
Well, that gondolier,
Was foolish enough to be paddling the canals without a spirit bane charm, so
He might even be dead.
deserved what came.
Yeah.
yeah, Wave killed him.
Sounds about right. You took a downtime action for that, right?
I sure did.
Remember me?
Oh, and it is.
Dunslow is the if we're heading there right now. Dunslow is the neighborhood.
so fucked.
Dunslow is the neighborhood to the southwest of Duskfall, most famous for the prison. But of course, on the outskirts of the massive prison complex, there is this warehouse turned gym. This is where you know to find Rowan Brace, your contact with the ciphers. He is, of course, here.
Is he ever not here?
It's a good question.
I mean,
Maybe try to visit him at another time of
I
day.
do know gym rats.
That's it, right? However, as you come in, he's actually, you can hear him kind of cheering somebody on. His massive frame is sort of present sort of on the other side of the room. He's like bent over looking down at, I guess, somebody.
He's just going to town on that water fountain.
Horrible.
I love it so fucking much.
No, but you can hear him. He's just like, come on, yeah, you can do this. Come on, just one more, yeah. He seems to be maybe cheering somebody on. It's maybe unclear. It's hard to
He's
see.
not like engaged in illicit activity and we're walking in on him, are we?
I mean, I'm peering around his hulking form to see what he's enjoying.
Yeah, absolutely can do that. He appears to be coaching a young woman. She's maybe in her teens.
This is Telda, I swear to God.
Okay.
I
Swear to God.
mean, if you bother to look, it does not look like Delta.
Good.
The young woman seems to be struggling to do sit-ups to become better, faster, stronger. Rowan is using his, I don't know, trademark sort of gruff, tough approach to try to get her to do more. Can he sense...
Do a sit-up or I'll kill you.
Yeah, basically, right? You want to do a sit-up or you want broken hands? Do you make your presence known, or are you guys going to kind of watch until he's finished this current task?
Let's just head back into his office and wait. If he looks our direction, then... No, he should know that we're here.
Hello.
Go fix the water fountain again.
Clang, clang.
All right. Rowan taps the young woman on the shoulder, and she kind of like, she like leans back, just like sweating, and and kind of like, oh, Mr. Brace, it's really hard. I'm sorry. I knew it as soon as I said it.
Say it again.
No.
Slower.
Oh boy.
No. You don't get the ghost feel of the heart from me. Rowan kneels down and taps her once, twice on the shoulder. You're going to be great. Just keep it up every day. That's what you got to do. All right? Good. He turns around and he smiles. My 3 favorite troublemakers. Oh, you brought me a gift, haven't you? That's what you're doing here, right? You brought me a gift. Come on. And he like motions you into his office. Yes.
Has his accent changed because you're wandering, or is it's deliberate?
No, it's wandering. He had like an Irish accent last time, and I have forgotten how to do it.
That's totally fine. I just didn't know if this was like a sign that we were supposed to pick up on.
It's Tilda.
Oh, fuck.
Not again.
Damn it! You ruined my plans. No, that's good. That's a good question. He motions you back into his office.
Return to my spot on the floor.
Yeah, of course.
I perch on my precarious seat.
I'll lean against the door.
Classic.
This is what our band CD cover is going to look like as well.
We're also kind of looking disaffected in a way, except for which one of us is staring directly at the camera? Probably Thistle, if I'm...
Yeah.
So, here, we'll...
I mean, I don't want to ask, but is Rowan in the band? No.
He's the one taking the photo.
He's taking the photo, okay.
He's the photographer.
Right, just stand still there. There you go, something like that.
I saw.
We got it.
You've captured it in your mystery
Your
box.
magic kill him box. No, wait.
Flashy box.
Fleshy box is what
Flashy. Not cool.
He sits down in his creaking chair and leans back so that he can prop his head against the wall, slams his booted feet on the sort of desk, which creaks in protest. So, what have my favorite 3 brought for me today? That's closer to what I was going for originally.
Okay.
I hold out the cranky box on a flat palm, and I press the playback button.
Just instead of me wetting his
Just pull
pants.
the pin. It's like when you do
Oh
a
my
music
God,
box
she's-
and you crank it up and then you let go, right?
Oh no, it's happening again.
And it spins out in
Yeah,
place.
stop the pins.
Remind me to tell Waif to erase this part of the recording.
It's just the Nixon tapes.
Shoot, not that
Oh
stuff.
my god.
So, this is the recording from the meeting with the Wraiths,
Yes.
right? Between the
The
bill
bill hooks and the wraiths.
It provides the sound of a muffled voice, Telda's, essentially interacting with or trying to talk down the billhooks in a way. The 2 that had been talking to her were essentially trying to cut a deal outside of the billhooks themselves. And she didn't take very kindly to that. The deal, as it were, again, there are some pretty key details missing, but she seems to be offering something to them to take. And then there is confusion, right? When they announce that they're going to be playing, outside of the rules of the gang-to-gang hierarchy. She doesn't take kindly to that, and there is the sounds of thunk thunk as 2 crossbow bolts bury themselves into 2 bodies.
I believe that's the point where I booked it.
Skedaddled. That's
Got
correct.
the F out a dodge.
So the recording, I imagine at that moment. Well, I like to imagine it
You
ends
do
with
hear
Zane
him.
going, you know, just like grabbing it and running.
Rustle
Him
in
wetting
there.
his pants at that point.
Oh God!
Note to self: tell wait.
The warmth
To-
of shame.
And that's where the recording ends. So he tilts his head and kind of scrunches up his face a little bit. Why didn't you bring this to me before? You said I had to wait.
Until we got our publican pack.
Congratulations. I thought you looked well fed. Yeah, he laughs. Breaks out into a cackle.
So, are you interested in acting on this information?
Oh, of course.
And did we inform him about the gala?
I cannot remember.
Yes, we did.
Great.
Cool.
Tomorrow.
I can't hit that note anymore.
It is for now, I think, yeah, the Aruvian Ambassador's Gala.
Oh.
So he folds his hands together and like takes his boots off the table, leans forward again. The desk kind of groans and complains under the weight of his fleshy, meaty arms. You've been very good to me, and I appreciate that. The Ciphers appreciate your assistance. Friend to
How
friend.
much?
I believe you've already been shown our appreciation.
Damn it.
Have you not?
We don't have any additional status with the ciphers at this point.
Additional Oh, yeah, you guys don't have any...
We have no
sorry.
status currently with the ciphers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Please take +1. You've
Yay.
absolutely done work for the
Someone
Ciphers.
who doesn't hate us. How exciting.
How about the gondoliers? Are we...
You should... Yeah,
we
you
were
should
at
definitely-
+1
Yeah.
at the start.
I don't think you've done enough to
That's
really
fine.
ally yourselves with them further yet. I mean, if you want to, like, approach them and be like, what can I do to help you, Gov? You know, like,
Yeah.
that's fine. We could... we could talk about
It
that.
would be a +3 by now, but they keep getting really offended by our, like,
Or if
Hey. We're not all the stereotypes!
you need all the happiness you can get in Duskfall.
Yeah, basically. If it comes at your expense, well... So he folds his hands on his folds his hands and looks back up. I know that our business has come to a conclusion. You've retrieved your publican. Congratulations. I could smell the fire from here. Seems like it was very effective. And you also have provided me with the information I need, or at least pieces of it, to put the picture together.
there were blue coats. That wasn't in your intel.
No, it wasn't. You're right. Just a patrol, or...
Claimed to be. Certainly seemed to know too many people there for it to be coincidence.
You're wearing a large coat, right?
Yeah.
He wouldn't be able to necessarily tell.
Tell that I have bruise related, but I'm definitely taking measures to not give it away.
Of course, yeah, of course.
I don't want to.
She's weakened at Bernie. Like, she's just leaning on me and I'm puppeting her.
Oh, fuck. You bastard. He kind of, nods, and we all take professional risks in Duskfall, do we not? You had to do it. It was an obstacle you had to overcome. And so I'm proud of you. Congratulations. I'm sorry for the trouble it might have caused you. I promise I knew nothing about any targeted attempts that the Bluecoats would have had for staking that out that night.
It's just good to know that they're involved in whatever all of this is.
Like you said, could be a patrol. The old train yard's typically pretty abandoned, but there are still some cars that go through there, things to protect, things they want to watch out for. It could also be something more sinister. I don't know.
Watch your backs.
We always do. I wonder if I might interest you in something. Information. Intelligence. He looks at Waif. He deliberately doesn't look at these two. Just to not offend anyone. Now, if I were a gambling man, I would try not to appeal to your sense of duty, but rather to your sense of greed. Have I pegged you right?
Who do you think we owe duty to?
Yourselves? Me, perhaps? I don't know of your entanglements. Other than you must have done something to piss off the people who took your publican. Something. But haven't we all done something to piss somebody off at some point or other?
They're pissed off that we dare to exist.
Sometimes it's enough reason to be hated. See, I
People
always...
looking to poison an entire gala. Yeah, apparently anyone that doesn't meet their criteria, I guess we're part of them.
It would be a very bold move indeed for a... Well, the rates are not 2-bit, that's for sure. It would be a very bold move indeed to target the new Eruvian ambassador and all of the very important people who would be there. I wouldn't be surprised if the governor was there himself. To target them with a poison, there must be some sort of precautions in place.
But are the Wraiths even entangled with the A-listers of Duskval? Or the Bs or the Cs?
Where do you rank yourselves? They're entangled with you.
We're not A's, B's, or C's.
All right. Not yet. I don't know, is the short answer. What would they have to gain from potentially poisoning a room full of very important people? Who would fill the power vacuum? Not them, certainly. It doesn't really make sense. That said, the Eruvian ambassador, as you are well aware, is wealthy. Fabulously wealthy. And until just a day ago, I was under the impression that that wealth was in Eruvia. That he came here as an ambassador to the people of Duskfall to mend bridges, perhaps, improve their standing here. It would appear that that is not necessarily the case, and this is where my appeal to your greed comes in, if you'll perk your ears up for just a moment. I have it on some authority that the Eruvian ambassador is not simply going to promise wealth and riches to those who will help him in his maneuverings here. In his estate, strong boxes of jewels, coin, tomes encrusted with gold, priceless artifacts. A treasure trove for those who are daring and stupid enough to go after it. Now, I'm not saying you're daring or stupid. But if I had to take my guess, the Rays are planning something, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was material wealth. If they could pull this off, it would rocket them right up the ranks of the Duskvalian criminal syndicates. Does this track with what you know of them? Does it make sense? Is there anyone in their crew who might have a chip on their shoulder, who might want to take them down?
This doesn't make sense. The rumors that we've heard are about reveling in destruction and death.
Destruction?
What was the line exactly?
The celebrations will be marked with screams and blood. It'll all be over soon. There won't be room for anyone else in Duskfall.
Does she always go wonky-eyed and start predicting the future, or is that a today thing?
That
Depends. What day is today?
Oh, I see.
People looking to destroy a civilization aren't typically interested in wealth, are they? They're interested in power.
What if they destroyed all of the wealth? What would that do? He doesn't hold all the wealth in Duskfall, so that can't be it.
They have a weapon, whatever those vials are. I don't imagine that that's there to disintegrate gold.
No.
If I could get my hands on one of them, I could study it, find out what it does.
Unfortunately, there's no way of knowing where they are now, Waif.
So what? Cover his gold in contact poison and hope everyone that touches it dies? That doesn't seem explosive enough.
You'd kill 2, maybe 3 people before someone caught on.
Depends how slow acting it is, but yes.
If they were in and out, it would, if it was targeted enough, it might hit the right people. Perhaps look like an act of chaos, but truly advance their own goals. Look, I'm in the dark, much as you are.
Are you sending anyone to the gala with the information that you have now that we procured for you? Will the ciphers have a presence at the gala?
I don't know why I'd tell you that, and I'm not sure why you think I would.
It'd be nice to see a friendly face.
It
When
would.
we go.
Oh, you haven't heard? It's a masked ball.
A friendly chin?
Well, we'll spot the wraiths by the plague masks.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've seen masquerades and all kinds of things,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Except that, is anybody really fooled by like those masks
Oh.
at all?
Oh my god.
How much of a masked ball is in Duskfall? Is it like a straight up like eyes wide
Or are we
shut
talking
mask?
like like Pretty Little Liars masquerade?
Oh, that
Where
bullshit.
they were like, "Who's the Black Swan?" And it's like
It's just like
obviously
literally this, yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
I would say, based on your knowledge, specifically Zane, this is
You've been to many.
well, it's you know, I mean, you have
How else
Are
do
you
get-
Raoul
Look,
from the Phantom
key
of the
parties are
key parties. Oh shit. I would imagine that the wealthiest of the wealthy would have incredibly ornate masks that would be like normal half masks.
because they still want to know that when they're showing off, people know who they are.
Exactly.
But the poor people have to totally cover their faces.
Well, it's
'cause we
also a
smell.
gala, so it's not that poor. You know, you're not just inviting random people off the street. But yes, I would imagine there would be some people who would take masking themselves to a whole new level to spread rumors and gossip, right? Why not? A full black morph
shut.
suit glued shut.
At least
No
five.
bathroom for you.
I really want to go to the parties you go
Yeah,
to.
seriously. Take the blowtorch, heat me up. I want to get out of this thing. It's gonna melt the glue on your body. Horrible. Just enough.
This twosome,
Yeah.
you're invited to everything.
Yeah, for sure.
When they're both
Open
in
and
chat,
shut.
it's really exciting.
Oh God, can you
shit,
imagine?
you said everything.
Oh God, we don't have. Oh no.
I haven't baby-proofed this place.
Oh no, you only
Lot
invited
of
the two
corners.
of them.
Oh.
The dog is taking care of the baby,
Sorry.
obviously.
Oh, perfect.
That sounds like an episode of Lassie or The Littlest Hobo. I'm
Airbud.
sure one of, right?
So golden morph suit saxophone players.
But they were 4 and of different height, presumably. Oh, okay.
So you.
I thought it was just like a random assortment of sizes. That's wild. You two are wild.
How do you blow into a saxophone through a morph suit?
You'd have to cut a
Very
strategic
carefully.
hole.
Oh no, thank
Depends on the
you.
morph suit. Sometimes they're only a clue.
Do I have Careless Whisper on this thing?
And DMC.
A zipper.
Make a tiny
Just
hole.
here, eh? That's
Oh
nasty.
Jesus!
That's not nasty.
It feels
Just a
very
tiny
kink
little
to me.
zipper.
Feels not nasty. Sorry.
Zip, 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 zip.
Right,
Ooh, what
let's-
if you zipped your lip shut? I'm sorry.
Because like, is it a morph suit or is it like a?
Yeah, let's
Right.
not.
Look, fingering is always a real trick. Okay. I'm going away now forever. Bye.
Hi, John.
Are you actually standing up from the? No, you're good. Okay. Rowan, kind of, slams his fist on the desk. It doesn't make any sense. Right. Well, I told you. I could appeal to your sense of greed. As I said, if there was someone daring or stupid enough to try to steal from the Eruvian ambassador, they might get away with it if there was enough chaos. I don't know. I leave that open to you. However, as friends, business associates, let's keep it business associates. I could use another set of eyes there. Yes, Waif. The ciphers will have a presence.
How will we know them?
That's a good question. How will I know you?
can have a secret handshake.
He extends a meaty fist and opens his fingers. They're like sausages. Show me.
She extends a really, incredibly delicate, dainty hand.
Okay.
And kind of stroke.
Oh no, we're not.
We can just do the face-off thing with their masks.
It's okay.
No.
Just
Rowan, it just goes. Ugh.
I mean, we could do the Fresh Prince
Yeah, one of these.
I include a little bit of the wrist.
Yo, why?
What is wrong with
you? Wait, more like
Wife.
why?
There it is. Maybe we can have a passphrase or something. I don't think we need to bring that into
Two
it.
shakes, two squeezes.
That sounds better to you?
He extends his hand and would offer to shake.
Be mine.
No.
Shake, squeeze, squeeze.
Right.
It was like, I can't bridge the gap. My arm isn't that long.
reach. Well, that would be one way of doing it. Good. As I said before, if I can't appeal to your sense of greed, perhaps I can appeal to your sense of duty.
If the Wraiths plan on killing everybody, it's going to make this place a lot less pleasant.
It would be insane.
You want to appeal to something from me? Tell me that the Wraiths are going down, and I'm in.
He leans back and kind of, strokes his cheeks. Oh, it's very interesting. Let me think about this for a moment. If they are to be there, if they have this strange powder, if they are planning to do something big enough to target the new Aruvian ambassador, then they're going all in. They're pulling out all the stops, which means they're going to have their best people there to make sure it goes off without a hitch. So, if we can figure out what they're doing and bring it down, hell yeah. The race will go down. In a pile of ashes. Does that interest you?
You may have to ask my two companions. I don't speak for them.
You'll meet him.
I think the pile of ashes probably appeals to this one here. Right. Maybe. What about you?
I think that one less thorn on our side is always beneficial.
Thistle. I can't... What I can guarantee is that if your crew is there, if you're the eyes in the crowd, if you're the eyes, I don't know, on the roof, whatever, you will find out what they're doing. Now, whether or not it's stopped, that's maybe down to chance, to fortune. Perhaps it is down to your skills and your talents. I don't know. But you will gain information, and information is the most valuable currency this city has. And I think you know that.
I respectfully disagree.
He says, flaunting his Rolex and his fucking silver, whatever. His Fendi and his Gucci.
Ray-Bans,
Gucci Prada.
which aren't even necessary in Duskwall.
Oh,
I wear my
Very much
sunglasses
the
at
I wear
night.
my sunglasses in Duskwall, so I can't.
I think that there should be an agreement to share critical survival-based information that evening. turns out you drink the blue punch, you're fine. The red punch, you're dead.
Mm.
We make sure that the ciphers of us drink the right punch.
Goes both ways.
Can we arrange for 2 invitations?
There are 3 of you.
I don't plan on making my appearance known.
2 invitations. I think we can wrangle that. Yeah.
Will we be your dates?
No.
It's all right. I'm not sure that you'd like her taste in men.
He's far too fleshy for her.
There's a little bit of a sacrifice you're going to have to make.
You're too solid for my
Oh
taste.
no. He does think about that briefly, and you can kind of see him, like, you can see the wheels turning in his head. He's like, what if I did have 2 partners? No, it's not that. You can see it behind his eyes. 2 invitations. The Ruben Ambassador's Gala. Yeah, I think we can swing it. I'll have, well, all you need to know is that we'll have at least 1 person there. You communicate to them, you find them, you communicate to them, and they'll get the word out if there is any survival-based information that they need to know. In both ways, I promise. I can't have you go and die in at the party now, can I? Can't leave behind so many beautiful corpses. Although I imagine, Gast, you would be long gone if something happened to your compatriots.
Is that a slight?
No, not at all. I take it he's a survivor. Am I wrong?
They survive. With me. I don't leave people behind.
You're absolutely out
He
of your
says
minds.
as he remembers last night.
Literally leaving them behind all the time.
You got the quarry.
That's it, right?
Let me just cue up my cranky movie box for a second. I think we have the replay.
Yeah,
Fuck all of you.
You 3 are absolutely out of your minds. Well, this one is anyway. Well, no, 2 of you anyway. I think you're on the level. If you ever want to come work for the ciphers, I kid.
I do more than carry envelopes.
Oh, God.
So do I. He looks a little hurt.
I'll just be wiping off this
Plus 1, yeah.
Are you kidding me? That sounded like it was a come on. I'm saying that's +2.
Zing!
I do more than just carry envelopes.
Oh my. Carry all sorts of packages. Oh boy. We're going in.
Have you seen my legal advice?
Have you seen my handwriting?
Oh my. It's very.
I'd be happy to look over your briefs.
Oh.
There we go.
Ka-ching! He stands up from the table and starts to sort of pace, and we're going in completely blind. We don't know what to expect here. Frankly, I've never even been to one of these galas. Seems like, I don't know. I'm not sure what they do there.
Dress as nice as you can, act like you're better than everybody else, and try to get out without convincing too many people otherwise.
You have. You have been.
Oh, yes.
Do you know how to dance?
I've been known to do the Charleston.
To cut a rug. Oh, da-da-da-da-da.
Technically, dancing would fall under prowl or finesse.
Yes. Yes.
So, yes.
Although, depending on what you were trying to do with your dance, you could potentially attempt to consort or sway as well.
Consorting would actually probably be probably the right.
This officially makes Waif the worst dancer because nothing you made. Oh no, she has some prowl.
Do you have any rec?
1.
B-boy.
I'm gonna wreck this dance floor.
And then I'm gonna wreck that ass.
Whoa, hey, whoa. Rowan kind of stalks over to inspect the cranky box. You made this, didn't you? You said you made this?
Yeah.
It's a very impressive piece of work, you know.
Thank you.
It's not something you see every day. I'm just very impressed, is all.
I might be willing to consider making another if the price was right.
Get out of fixing the drinking fountain. You know we're never going to be able to live up to that.
I don't have need of one at the moment, but I appreciate your hustle, all of you. You brought me valuable information, and I think we might have enough to make a play. We might.
Then let's play.
I have a question for you. And I understand if you can't answer or if you don't want to. That's fine. We know the rates are there. We know that they tried to enlist the help of the billhooks. And failed, I assume. Perhaps they found someone who is a bit more cooperative. I don't know. Is there anyone, that if they were there that night, and they had been paid for, bought by the rates, is there anyone that would be a liability for any of you? Like I said, you don't have to tell me, but I'd be very appreciative if you did.
Could we have the room for a moment, please?
This is my office.
Yes, but I'm not about to discuss this outside here. Do you really want this business to be known outside of this room?
I don't.
Then would you mind giving us a moment, please?
He's already standing up. He stands up taller. He walks out of the room. He closes the door behind him. It shakes a little bit, and then you can hear grunting coming from outside. It's rhythmic.
Like rage pull-ups?
Yes.
That is exactly
Or is it just like fucking the keyhole? Like, what's going on?
with his pencil dick. No, he is. Sorry. He's probably doing chin-ups or something outside.
So I'm going to make sure that this conversation
I
is...
won't do any more.
This conversation
Really
is
sorry,
held
everyone
at
in chat.
low volume?
Yes, of course. 100%. So sorry.
The gondoliers could certainly sell us out if they wanted to. Honestly, so could the ciphers. Bluecoats and the Wraiths both have it out for us as well, and I mean, the laborers like us, but that's just because we chose that at character creation.
The what?
The person
Very
on the
meta.
Silver Sun pleasure barge knows who you are. Doesn't she? Annie.
That's part of the reason why I don't want to have an official invite, because for all I know, Telda's going to be there and she would recognize me on sight.
And that's why Mara Deva is the woman attending.
Mara Deva?
Yeah. Daava.
Love it. Just writing it down now.
I'll be use the same alias.
The question is whether we want to let the ciphers know who we're tight with.
Sorry, so to me the question was, is there going to be someone there that if they're there, you're fucked?
Or who could identify us or be a liability.
Yeah.
That would make our lives harder.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, yes, technically, if, like, you know,
Knowing that there's...
Briggs showed up from the gondoliers, but
Yeah.
it just seems unlikely.
Yeah, I would say, you know, the implication is there anyone who, if they were present at this ball, could either, perhaps sell out your identity somehow, or who you would be indebted to and wouldn't want to see against you?
I'm going to assume you will, like, change your appearance to a certain degree so that you're not immediately
I'm in a
noticeable.
mask.
Right. So, Telda, we could tell them about Telda.
So to me, that's the point. Like, technically, yes, anyone from any of our past could show up, and anyone from any of these gangs that are aware of us could show up. But I feel like the obvious thing is Telda is a wraith that's theoretically involved in this plot.
Getting some
And she
water
hates you a lot.
Yeah.
We're about to break in 6 minutes.
Yeah, you're right.
No, but if he wants to break now,
If you want to call the break now, why don't we call the break now?
Well, because we're in the middle of a conversation.
He was just making use of the time.
It's true. No, we're good. We're good. Sorry.
Oh,
Let's tell them about Telda.
your choice.
Okay. I open the door.
Rowan is indeed doing chin-ups. It's pretty impressive, actually. You know, dude's got a lot of mass below the neck, and he is lifting himself pretty impressively up and over the bar.
Is he doing, like, chin-ups and then press-ups?
No, he's not that. No, he's not that lean. He's getting his chin above the bar, but you know, it's a lot of.
I'm going to get up next to him on the bar.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Bar is like, oh.
He turns to look at you.
There's a wraith. Telda spent a lot of time disguised as a beggar, had it out for me before we even found out what her affiliation was.
Jill the lover.
No.
You sure about that?
How much more sure can I be? Thing is, she's the one on that recording.
How do you know?
Because I saw her. I was the one who made the recording.
Right.
That's why I'm trying to stay as far out of sight as I can. She won't recognize,
This one.
and she probably won't recognize. But even if she does, technically, Thistle did her a favor. She may be well inclined towards her.
That's always very handy to make sure you've done favors for your enemies. Is it going to be personal, Gast?
Nothing's personal.
It's funny how even in business, everything is personal, isn't it?
I'm gonna do a press up.
Yeah.
I'm wiry.
100%. No, you can absolutely, yes.
And then I'm just going to like push myself up and then let it hold for a second. And I'm going to push myself off the bar and let myself drop it.
Do you do like 3 flips before landing?
I don't think...
I could. Yeah.
I think you should.
I do a half a
First you
flip.
get the sugar, then you get the power, then you get the winning.
Oh my.
I remember that quote very distinctly.
I don't know if I do. Rowan kind of hops down and folds his arms and nods. That's what you have to report. That's good to know. And if you can ID one of the wraiths, that's going to count for a lot. Right. To your battle stations, I suppose.
Sick. All right, so I fire up my 4090. I got my nanoleaf panels behind me, so they're all lit up RGB.
Oh, God. I love that.
I flip up my collar and head out into the always crisp, dank air of.
Duskfall, yeah.
If he doesn't ask to take the cranky box, I'm taking it back with me.
100%. Yeah.
Fantastic.
He's heard what he needs to hear, and he doesn't necessarily want this this device that was made by hand by you in his office.
Whee!
That's fine. Yeah, 100%.
You'd probably break it.
Yeah.
I thought it was a jack in the box.
I thought if I just kept cranking, something would happen.
Many boys think that at some time in their life.
All right, I think then this would be a good moment
Yeah.
to call break. Feel good? Does that feel good?
Yeah.
Feels good.
Let's find some new music.
New music.
Whoa!
Music.
I need some like.
So we're gonna break for about 5 minutes, I guess.
Yeah. I need some
5
sweet
minutes.
break.
Do you need to get up, get a snack, get some dinner?
Ask questions of us? You can do that too.
I'm going to be sitting here.
We're gonna banter.
Everyone else
Anything
might just
more escape?
leave. No, I'm
I'm
fine,
also
thank
escaping
you.
then.
Actually, if you could just take this away, that would be really handy.
Take this away.
Take me away,
And we'll be right
a
back.
secret place.
6:20. Okay, cool.
Name is
that good for
Jeff. Yeah.
Antibiotics. Perfect. Hui. Whoa.
I'll depart after they're back.
That does sound
I mean, I can vamp, but
I know,
we could
but you
vamp
shouldn't
together.
vamp by yourself.
Are you looking forward to the December holiday season?
Yeah, I am. My sister's coming to visit, and Scott and I were planning our plant-based Christmas meal.
Has your sister ever appeared on stream?
It's a really good question. I feel like she may have like stuck her head into Wave once or twice.
Are we thinking a very special Drew crew?
I don't think she would want to be there the whole time. I don't think she'd want to be
Today, on a very special Drew crew, Nancy finds 4 marijuanas in the woods. George says that they should just tell an adult.
So how do you feel about the fact that Zane's nemesis is like at the center of this
At the gala.
horrifying plot?
At the gala. I mean, jerk. I'm not actually sure. See, the thing is that she's always had it out for me, but I don't know whether that's going to, like, is it personal or not? But it sort of feels like part of it kind of has to be.
I think some of it's just bad luck.
Well, bad luck or no, it's bad for business to assume that trends will continue, but it's also bad for business to ignore them.
Like if the Wraiths hated us and Telda was working with them and they wanted a way to get back at us, she could easily have said, oh, take their publican. She could have fed them that info, no problem.
It's possible. The Wraiths are also -2 status, and if they hit -3, then that's straight up war.
That's bad.
And, like, they almost crossed the line by stealing our publican. We're the ones who decided that the publican was a big deal for us.
Yeah.
We're
I think
soft-hearted little shits.
We are, but that tracks. Oh, could you mute me? I'm gonna go refill my drink now.
Thank you. John, entertain them on your
Oh.
own.
I will.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, go ahead.
2 seconds.
Honestly, it's going to be an interesting situation regardless, figuring out what the hell's going on.
Yup.
But I mean, I also know that we've got a time limit on this. So, what can we get up to? I have a question. I have a rules question for you.
Yeah, sure.
If in a standard session of Blades in the Dark, the score is supposed to go to happen within the context of one session. I assume that it's possible that whatever score this is may stretch. Depends, right?
Yeah.
Like we spent a bunch of time beforehand. We haven't usually started the score until after the break, but it's possible. But if it doesn't, if somebody traumas out, the next session, are they still traumatized out of the score?
That's a good question. Rules as written, yes, they are out of said score. That said, I mean, the game is designed, in my mind, the game is designed to be played in the cycle of free play, engagement, score, downtime in one session, right? And then you reset in the following session. That's how I would imagine it. However, as we have discussed, at least in passing off stream, I would imagine that we could set up a situation where a very long score could be in 2 parts or 2 locations, where they have to bail from the first location and then perhaps come back.
So it would effectively be 2 scores.
In that case, yeah. In that sense. What I wouldn't want, and again, as we've discussed, right, is that if someone's out of a score, but that's like there's another 3 hours of gaming, it's like, well, you can't do anything. Or you can still role play, you can't participate actively in the score. That doesn't feel fun, but of course we could discuss that, PCs amongst the 4 of us, basically, right? Yeah. Does that
tracks?
Okay. Kung Fu Fenris, great question. The answer is not that many. I like the mechanic. I think it's cool. I think as far as it being, it could be a mechanic that helps like tick progress in terms of like how close are you to an objective.
Proud exploded.
But it could also be a method of going, ooh, ratchet up the tension, I love that. That's really fun. But yeah, that said, I find that we don't necessarily need them for either of those goals all that often. There's a few clocks that are ongoing right now for recovery. There's also a few clocks ongoing in terms of other sort of more personal projects or personal interactions.
Yeah, there's like long-term threats, long-term projects, that's exactly it. But in terms of during an individual score, they don't come up as much. And I wonder if that's partially because of what we're used to in terms of running games. And Because it's neat, you know, the thing of like, oh, you have like a 4-segment clock, and when this is full, the guards are gonna hear it and like notice you or whatever. The alarm's gonna go off. That isn't the types of scores that we've had thus far.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think if the objective is like a bit more nebulous, like
Yeah.
if the objective is get this person, get this jewel,
Yeah.
I don't really need to make a clock that's like, you know, steps until you accomplish your objective.
Yeah.
Every time you tick the clock, it's like you get a little closer. I don't really need that.
Yeah.
If it's nebulous, if it's find this room or, you know, find out what this person knows or whatever it is, that might be interesting because then we can track how effective actions are as opposed to them being a strict pass-fail situation.
And that also, I feel like you want to have narrative control of like when a thing happens. I feel like
There's that.
there are GMs that, whether it's because they aren't sure when to make it happen or because they don't want to be blamed for when something happens, right? That, you know, it's like, oh, well, every time you go into a new room, the clock will fill, and once you've filled the clock, this is gonna happen. Like it. I feel like you're going more off of what seems narratively interesting rather than mechanic.
Yeah, that's how I feel, certainly.
Yeah.
But, you know, I do want to continue to, I want to use what's at our disposal, right? Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
I'm in.
I'm in.
We're all in.
Are there any other, well, if we're talking about being in, let's get back into it then, shall we? Where are you? There we go. Perfect. Is there anything else that any of you want to accomplish before entering into planning, aka the engagement roll, for this score?
I mean, I have nothing to wear.
We have to go shopping.
So we need to go shopping.
Oh my god. Okay, all right. Well, shit. All right.
There goes
How
the
much
rest
of our coins did
Yeah,
we spend
here
on
goes the
this?
rest of our session too. Okay, well, here's Taylor.
Unless we break into his family's home and take their clothes.
Stick it to the parents.
Take that, Dad.
You really want to dress up like my mom?
Yeah, I thought you'd be
honestly,
into
Waif might.
Yes.
Wait.
it. No.
So I mean, like, jokes half aside, if we do want to have a score which is break into a rich person's home and
No.
steal their shit, like that's fine.
No,
I think we
we'll
can
go
do that.
I mean, that seems like a pretty low tier score. It might not increase our heat too much if all we do is steal some jewels and clothes. But
Oh no, my favorite gown. My favorite 2 gowns.
Why are we going after old people for their old clothes? Why don't you go after like young people for their hip
young
clothes?
clothes.
Oh damn, my pantsuit, bro.
There we go.
What's cool? I don't know.
Oh, my slouchy sweatshirt.
Jumpsuit. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, there you go.
Oh,
That's a
my
good jumpsuit.
hoodie. Yeah.
Just take any and all of the costumes from Andor.
Nice.
The costumes in
Costume
Andor are
design is so
fucking
good.
baller.
We really need to keep watching.
Yes, we do.
Obtaining clothing isn't difficult in and of itself. There's a whole region dedicated to markets.
Back to night market.
Back to night market. Back
Well
to
then,
the Nightshade Bazaar.
Wally Danvers of Disappearing Ink needs to return.
I can tell you that if you are planning on purchasing clothing suitable for a gala and masks suitable for a gala, they are obtainable. I should ask if it's something that you feel like you want to spend an inordinate amount of money on. Like, is it something that you're like, let's be the best dressed there? Because that's going to take resources probably beyond your
We're
understanding.
looking to
Red Pans
stand out. I think we're looking to be the full mask people that blend in as opposed to the half mask people that are like,
I mean, if they've just caught me, you could
me.
pull a Katniss Everdeen and like your dress like erupts into flame and everyone's like, oh.
Incredible. Yeah, I'll just cover us in fire oil.
no,
God, you stink.
That idea is so great. I think you should keep it for yourself. I think you should do that.
And you're going to stand very far away all the time.
Ollie is buying like a dress with a poofy skirt because she's hoping she can hide things amongst the tulle.
Okay.
A crowbar wedged in there.
Pockets. No, but then you could have like stuff on garters or pockets.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a YouTube channel.
She can stash vials under her like layers.
There's a YouTube channel of called Jill Barup, I believe is what it is, and she does reviews of like armor
awesome.
in like fantasy and movies and stuff. But she also has done like several videos on like concealing weapons in wedding gowns
and ball gowns and stuff like the
badass.
sword down the back of Wonder Woman sort of thing.
like,
Yeah,
is that possible?
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Yeah.
I've never heard of this YouTuber, and now I need to.
Jill Barup,
Nice.
Bearup.
Does fight choreography for theater and possibly film, but definitely
She does fight acting. I don't know if she's a choreographer.
Okay. But like, yeah, I understand.
Maybe she is.
That's really cool.
She certainly sounds like she could.
Yeah. She knows her shit.
I love that.
Yeah.
Clothing procured, then.
I want to case the joint.
Aha! Okay.
I want to find out where there's potential points of ingress,
Yeah.
egress, egrets.
The Eruvian ambassador does not keep birds. Well, not on the outside, anyway.
Hog. Oh fuck.
But there is a woman that seems
That's
to
what the
say,
race whole
"You know
plan is, just
nothing,
let
Jon
one
Snow."
goose loose.
Oh, it's gonna be absolute chaos.
Run!
So this is doable. I will point out, and I think this is something that's worth mentioning here. I will quickly get this. White Crown is a region even beyond Brightstone, which is of course the sort of wealthy neighborhood that you.
That's where my family lives.
Oh my God, they.
They might be invited.
Oh my God! Why didn't you mention that?
Because I didn't know it was in White Crown.
It would be pretty compromising if they recognized their beloved son.
I
He's not gonna be
don't
there.
want to
He's
be
not gonna
seen.
I don't want to be seen.
That's why I have my dark side goggles and my fine shadow cloak.
Yay!
So I'll read the description here because I think it's important for tone and so on, and I think it's going to be important, John, for Gast to know what he can and can't get away with in terms of casing the joint. White Crown sits atop a grand peak on the island across North Hook Channel from the city proper. From this lofty height, the Lord Governor's stronghold oversees all, flanked by the grand estates of the most powerful nobility and the extravagantly appointed campus of Duskball Academy. White Crown is a rich and rarefied world unto itself. Most citizens live out their entire lives in the city without ever once crossing the bridge to the glittering spires of wealth and power there. Just to give you a sense of what we're looking at. This island that is sort of to the north of the city, first and foremost, yes, you can hire passage across the channel. It is difficult to gain passage that isn't monitored. It's not impossible, naturally. There is, as you can see here, a bridge. They control entry and exit to the island or the neighborhood, I guess, of White Crown quite a bit. The Eruvian ambassador's palatial estate is one that is reserved for temporary fixtures. Thank you. In the city. So ambassadors, traveling nobility, and so on and so forth. There's a few of these. It is not, of course, as large or as well appointed as, say, the Lord Governors, but it is still quite impressive. The gates are high. There is a garden in the front of the estate, complete with a sort of hedge. I'm not going to say maze, but there's like topiary, right? Flowers. The estate itself is a large 3-story building. It sprawls. There'd be no way of knowing kind of how many individual rooms there are inside. There would definitely be many servants' access points in the rear of the building, into the kitchens or into, say, rooms where they keep refuse or whatever. There are windows, large windows, on most of the 3 stories on all sides. The ballroom is located on the east side, so on one side of the building on the main floor. Again, the large windows kind of give out onto the garden, overlooking the topiary and overlooking, eventually, out into the ocean itself. It would be beautiful if it wasn't so kind of bleak all the time. The house blazes with electric light. It would be foolish to think that there aren't security measures in place beyond a couple of old, dusty guards as well. Is there anything specific that Gast wants to know beyond possible points of ingress and egress? Is there anything is there anything in particular that you want to?
Any idea about the security detail that's been hired? Has there been any talk of people being hired to?
No talk. No, not of additional security. However,
I mean, it's an ambassador. It's going to be well guarded.
This is it. In fact, interestingly enough, I should point out the Bluecoats, the City Watch of Duskfall, don't actually have any sway in Whitecrown because the Imperial military are more or less the sort of security detail there. The Imperial military is, as you can imagine, heavily militarized. They don't patrol Whitecrown in the same way that they might patrol the streets of Duskfall, but they maintain a careful watch over most of the points on and off the island, as well as posting units to the gates of most of these establishments. They assume, I think Gast would appreciate, they assume that most people are going to come on official business, have their papers checked, go in, do their business, and leave, and be checked on the way out. If someone managed to find a way in, say, over a fence, through a cellar, through a sewer, whatever, through the air somehow, the amount of light and scrutiny on these estates is what would keep them away.
Well, it doesn't look fun, folks. Thankfully, we have an extra die to help us out.
Yeah.
I am just looking for something here.
Could you mute me for a second? I want to adjust my mic.
Good.
Adjusting.
So here's where our assets lie right now. We've secured invitations to get you in.
Yeah.
You've also secured appropriate outfits and masks so that it looks like you belong.
Yeah.
We have the information that we have the information of who's planning on being there. We also know that the Wraiths are planning something there. We know the face of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that's going to help us in a masquerade ball is another question. But how do we get me in there?
You also know, instead of assets, you also know that the ciphers will have some presence.
Yeah, we have allies.
Yes.
I mean, these people are quite wealthy. Would they bring their own servants? At least to the door?
Yeah, I would imagine that people would have carriage drivers,
Yeah.
coach people or foot people, if you
Yeah.
will.
I can come in underneath one of the carriages.
Yeah, hold on to one.
Badass. I mean,
It's either that or monkey bar across the underside of the bridge.
It's a little long for monkey
Yeah.
barring.
Not for a reckless man like yourself.
Reckless is tying myself to the underside of a carriage.
Yeah.
And getting shot on by horses.
why are the horses shitting under the carriage?
Well, it would shit down, but then it would hit his
Right, of
head.
course,
I
yeah.
mean, I could press up, but that'll put me into the stables, which hopefully won't be as observed. And I'm really gonna hope that the guards don't pull a standard bomb check using mirrors underneath the cars like at embassies these days.
I'll make you a jacket that's just a mirror.
Well, yeah, you'll
so
no,
the
you'll
mirror
just wear
reflects the
your dark cloak. Dark
That's a mirror!
By fine shadow cloak.
shadow cloak.
Yeah, wear your shadow cloak.
Your darkness, so they won't see it
Yeah,
reflected. in the
mock
mirror.
my shadow cloak. It
Yeah.
saved my
You're the
ass.
one who says it in that voice.
Yeah, I'm allowed to mock it.
Okay.
As you gather around the old scarred wooden table in your lair,
I don't know what I'm doing.
am I to understand that essentially the detail of Gast's plan is to rope him somehow, secure himself to the underside of a carriage of a noble who's going to be attending.
Yeah, I'm pulling a Cape Fear.
I like it. Whereas the detail for you two is the method of deceiving your way inside is, I mean, it's been provided to you. It's essentially invitations. What does Maradava do? What does Maradava do?
What should?
Maradava do?
What doesn't she do?
That's a great question. Just a thought.
You.
Yeah, I mean, it's that, or I fall back to Molly Danvers of Disappearing Ink, who had encountered both this wraith person and the inspector who was Vulai, who was apparently friends with the ambassador.
Yep.
So it might be smarter to fall back to Molly Danvers of Disappearing Ink.
Okay. So nothing to say you can't change who you are midway through the
Yeah, I
things.
might.
Yeah, you have to find a.
Swap your alias.
You got to make sure that you're at a safe house when
Yeah,
you do it.
Yeah,
course.
sped in action.
Oh, jeez. What about Waif?
What's Ardry's last name?
Ardry's last name is Charkovitz. Charkovitz, sorry. I wrote it down.
So she's Annie Charkovit.
Annie Charkovitz.
Yeah.
What is Annie Charkovitz doing at this gala?
She is a jewel appraiser.
I mean, okay.
So a jeweler.
Yeah.
Annie
jeweler.
Charkovitz.
Can we pull that off? If you were a jeweler, wouldn't you like have all kinds of expensive jewelry?
No. Okay, hold
No.
on. I've
A
got a
jeweler
better.
wouldn't have their own jewelry, right?
Yeah, I'm an antique
That's
dealer.
a good question.
No, I'm an author.
Oh,
I like that.
very mysterious.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's why we're coming as friends, because I'm a expert in documents, and perhaps we met through your publishing house. Or something
Absolutely.
like that.
Friends who come together stay together.
Yeah.
Right.
So Charkovitz is my last name?
Charkovitz.
Charkovitz.
Shake your head at me, storyteller
I
man.
heard what you said. Well, then I think, interestingly enough, there's two different sort of details for this plan, but that's because essentially there's two different plans. But that's okay. The score is set. Loadouts? Are people taking light loads?
Light.
Light.
Normal. If I'm caught looking at things, then I'm actually tempted to go heavy.
Oh my god.
A heavy load is the equivalent of someone who is not just looking for trouble, but like someone who is on their way to like do business, capital B.
Because it's only a difference between 5 and 6. So
Yeah, I'm gonna
like,
stick with normal.
Kate, what alias are you starting with?
I'm gonna stick with the known of Molly Danvers.
Alias are you starting
Molly
with?
Danvers.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, this is our
do
engagement
have-
roll then. Oh
I
yes.
do have does Rosalind Kellis have an invitation to this?
Who's Rosalind? Oh, this
She's
is-
my shady friend who is a noble.
That's correct. Rosalind. So yes, Rosalind Kellis would be invited to this gala, this soiree. Rosalind is from sort of one of the noble families of Duskfall, and as such, the Kellis dynasty doesn't have a business so much as a network with a big hand in trade. They're in the import-export business.
So I'm gonna let Rosalind know that I have a couple of friends
Okay.
who are going to be present. I mean, I assume that Rosalind knows that I've kind of turned to a life of skullduggery.
Yeah.
So
You don't keep it much of a secret.
I'm not necessarily going to let her know that I'm going to be there. I'm pretty sure she'll infer that. But I will let her know that we've got these two, and that if they are in a bind, then it might be helpful to have somebody who is otherwise unassociated with the underworld.
All sounds good.
The seed has been planted then that Rosalind will know that there are two of your associates or acquaintances or friends at the gala as well.
Yep.
Cool.
I'm going to just make allusions that they're there actually for an altruistic reason.
I mean, that definitely piques her interest. But if there's nothing more you can tell her, then she'll just have to find out on her own.
But I am trying to infer that, like, we're not here to just, like, rob the ambassador blind.
Oh, sure.
Which we might do.
Right, but it would be very foolish to tell someone that ahead of time.
Yeah, but no, we're here for an altruistic reason.
Take from the rich, give to the poor.
Exactly.
We're poor.
And we're taking from them.
Yeah.
Your engagement roll starts with 1 die for pure luck. I believe you also get 1 die to all your engagement rolls if they involve... What's the phrase, please?
Clandestine.
I mean, we're pretty clandestine.
Well, let's not go that
When
far.
you
This guy
execute
is,
a
though.
clandestine infiltration, it's still clandestine. They're in disguise.
true,
They're
that's
heading
true.
in
That's a good
there.
point.
You know, it's not like we're strolling in being like, oi.
Yeah.
Hands up.
I mean,
This is a stick
it
up.
basically means we'll always get it unless for some reason we're like panicked and having to like burst into a place and be like, give us all your fucking shit.
Oi, the bread bowls are here to fuck you up.
The bread bowls.
Is that who we are? The bread bowls?
You all wear bread
We were
bowls on your
Moxie.
head.
Oh yeah, we could be Moxie.
Moxie. This is a... Again, I want to discuss this with you as we...
Moxie crew.
The Moxie crew is pretty good. This feels like a particularly bold or daring operation. You may take a die.
We don't know any other kind.
Well, that's kind of the question, right? So you can take +1 for that for sure. The question is this is the target being exploited, or are they in control of the narrative, right? Again, if I use the phrasing here, does the plan's detail, fake invitations and underside of a carriage, does it expose a vulnerability in the target, or do they have preparations, or are they, the target here, of course,
it's the wraiths, not
is
the ambassador.
exactly right.
I don't think we
No.
qualify for
I
that.
tend to agree. And in fact, in my mind, they're like in control of this narrative. They know what they're going to do, but you don't.
Yeah.
But they don't know that we're gonna fuck with them.
That is a
right?
good point.
They don't know that we know
Yeah.
that they
Yeah.
know.
So that's a good point as well. We would add a die because there's friends and contacts.
Right?
We're going to remove it immediately because enemies and rivals are going to be interfering in this operation for sure. Are there any other elements that you want to add? I have one, but I want to hear from you as well.
We have allies present.
Yes, true.
Yeah.
Not just the ciphers, but we also have the noble Rosalind,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
who will be present as well. So we have 2 separate factions helping us.
That's a good point. Okay. I am going to counter, not to make it a that sort of thing. It feels to me like this is targeting a much higher tier group of people
Yeah.
than you are. You're batting out of your league, which is particularly daring, but also
Cool.
kind of terrifying.
We'll gain some XP at the end of the session.
There it
for
is,
that.
right? For sure.
Yeah.
That's everything I have to say. Are we?
So we have 3
Do
dice.
I see 3 there? Yeah, that seems pretty good to me.
Each of us roll 1.
Oh,
Roll the dice if you want. I'll lend you these, but that's fine.
sorry. 5.
3, 4, 5.
The highest result is a 5. Excuse me.
I'm distinctly uncomfortable, by the way, returning to this part of the city, just so everybody knows.
Do you have a hard time sleeping the night before?
I mean, thankfully you're not riding with them, so they won't know, right?
you can throw up from the other side of the carriage.
returning.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
You're like crammed underneath carriage.
Oh god, this is awful.
It's okay, Gast.
We just drive through a cactus field.
He's so reckless.
This is what I was trying to escape. So yes, it's personal for me today. I'm not going to let it get in the way of the mission.
You don't think there's any risk of seeing the life you left behind and being kind of sorry?
Yeah, my family might be there, but they sure as hell won't see my face.
What do they look like? Should we introduce ourselves?
No.
Okay. Mum's the word.
I can't stay mad at you. No, I'd rather that you not try to make contact with my family. They're just going to make your lives miserable.
Me.
It's another Simpsons reference.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll do my best not to twice at the drop of the name Sybil.
Thank you. And I ask for help as I lift myself up underneath the carriage, cinch it.
Unbelievable. Cinch it. Tie me in
I
tighter.
feel like she'd be cinching and I'd be chatting up the carriage person.
I was going to say the carriage driver is definitely either looking the other way or being very,
My weak
very definitely
arms.
distracted. You guys are the
You might
most
drag along
ridiculous crew I've
the
ever seen.
asphalt a little bit.
Tell me, how long have you been driving the elite in the most beautiful part of Duskfall?
You have no idea how absolutely awful. He's just he's totally hates doing this work.
All around my neck.
Oh, pardon me.
All right.
No, I want another hour and a half.
No, we're not doing this. We are jumping in.
Oh.
All right.
Could I?
Yes.
I mean, I'd like to know what kind of terrain he does have to encounter on his ride.
Cobblestones.
So cobblestones in
Any potholes?
the cobblestones.
Why are you making this harder for me?
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. The cobblestones, the roads in Brightstone are relatively well maintained.
Yeah.
So it's probably a pretty smooth ride. As soon as you're on the bridge and across into White Crown, it's like riding on silk. As much as strapped to the underside of a carriage can be like riding on silk.
How are you gonna get down?
I can unhinge myself.
All right.
Just have to loosen the belt and then
We're going to start at the front doors of the Eruvian Ambassadors gala. The place is lit up for a party. There are servants passing amongst masked ball goers, moving from the entrance hall down and disappearing around a corner, presumably Waif and Thistle. They're on their way to the grand ballroom. It would be hard to know from here. The old footman at the door is checking your invitations. Miss Danvers and Miss Charkovitz?
Yes.
Is that how you should be announced? How would you like to be announced? Oh,
Miss
it's a masked ball.
Danvers.
Why would they announce you? Sorry,
Yeah.
please,
Yeah.
please ignore my stupidity.
I would like to be
He checks your
mysterious, beautiful
invitations, though.
stranger
Yeah, okay, sorry.
in the gorgeous.
He checks your invitations.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
Thistle, is it?
Oh.
I heard about you from the criminal underworld.
You smell like gasoline.
It's time for you to play Pillow Face.
Oh, okay.
I play Pillowface a lot.
He goes down like a punk. No. The old footman bids you to have an excellent evening and motions you down the hall.
I lift my mask just enough for him to see my smile, and then I lower it again.
So sweet. Yeah, good question. These are full, more or less full
I would
masks,
do
yeah?
something relatively obscuring, yes. But
Maybe it can come down to here. Hey, there's two masks
Yeah, I was
behind you.
gonna
Pull
say.
that.
yes, she
Whoa.
would. This would totally
Masquerade.
have plague mask.
I was thinking either that or she's just wearing a really thick veil over her face to look like a ghost.
A veil. Why would you have
Honestly, neither of those
Why not?
masks would be all that appropriate.
It's pretty
You
intense.
show them in a plague doctor's mask.
I mean-
They're gonna be like, oh fuck.
I don't know. It could be kind of cheeky.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's the best idea, but okay. All right, sounds
A
good.
thick veil.
A thick veil.
Yeah.
The footman definitely gives you, a look, and
Artist.
he winks right back and goes, "Say no more, ma'am."
I write books, man.
Proceeds to motion you down the hall. The Eruvian Ambassador's residence, as I mentioned, as soon as you enter, there is a stairwell, carpeted, carved of the same marble as the floor is, that leads up and disappears onto the second floor. That is not where the flow of guests are headed. They are headed down the hall and to the left. The rooms are lit brightly and warmly with sconces. There's the smell of freshly baked goods wafting down the hall, the sound of laughter, the sound of music, and the sound of clinking glasses filled with wine. I should ask if the plan is to head with everybody else towards the ballroom or not.
I think to start, but I would stay on the outskirts of the room rather
Same.
than getting swept up into the midst of the dancing.
The idea is to observe. I want to see where this ambassador is and what their deal is.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to pick a spot where I can see, if I can, see this staircase to the second level.
Okay.
And otherwise see the rest, as much of the room as I can.
It's difficult to monitor both at once. It's not,
Yeah.
you'd have to sort of split
Yeah.
your focus
Yeah.
just to let you know. But it seems okay. I mean, you can imagine this is a large room that has been made specifically for the hosting of events like this. Lining the walls is a show of wealth in the form of food and drink, the likes of which you have never seen. Thank you, Ellie Spot. Have a good night. There are, there's like pheasant, duck, right? Various poultry foods, meat, which is incredibly wealthy to imagine like medieval fantasy worlds where you can show off kind of your own wealth by what you're allowed to cook.
The
Yeah.
lark.
There's also a few animals you don't necessarily recognize on the table that are cooked, I should say. They're cooked as well. More reptilian in nature. They may be imported from Aruvia. You wouldn't necessarily know. Along these tables as well, there are servants passing through the hall, deftly avoiding dancers, carrying trays of large crystal goblets of wine that they are passing out as they pass.
I'm watching goblets to see if anybody gets a different drink from anyone else.
Not that you can tell.
Okay.
What was I going to say? The room has at the far end as well a small group of musicians, maybe 6 or 8 people, who are playing. Right now, they're playing sort of like a lively waltz, They're trying to keep the energy up as people are starting to arrive.
Are there saxophonists, and are there 4 of them wearing
There are no
gold?
saxophonists in gold morph suits. I hate to disappoint. I'm
out.
But the atmosphere in here is one of warmth and pleasant conversation, and perhaps just a nice little undertone of one-upmanship. Your back is to windows, a long bank of them that face out again into gardens, topiary, and beyond that, the sea. You can't see that far, but you know it's there. What else do I have to tell you about this room? I think that's about it. The focal point of it right now, apart from those couples that have decided to already start dancing, cut loose, is the Aruvian ambassador. The man is tall, strong, he has sort of golden skin, a freshly raised head. He's dressed in a sort of sari-like kind of wrap, but it's made of the most vibrant violet. He's currently laughing with somebody who you believe might be the Lord Governor. I'm sorry, you would know who the Lord Governor is. It's the Lord Governor.
Yeah, but they're wearing a mask, so.
Oh,
who
yes, of course,
knows?
yes, that's
Oh
fair.
yeah,
actually,
how
that's a
can
good
we
point.
tell that it's the Aruvian ambassador?
He is unmasked.
Oh,
His
The
own
governor has like
masquerade.
one string.
Yeah, literally, just like, why bother? Yeah. And it's not where you think.
not where you think.
Up his nose.
Oh, double high five. Wow!
Yeah.
If we take the camera out through one of the windows and around the side of the house, having disembarked its passengers, the carriage is brought around the side to the large, well-appointed stables.
The valet.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
The valet.
driving it. Yeah, thank you. The coach person who is driving would essentially deliver it for the evening and be ready. You can hear him get off and disembark. Sorry. Sorry.
Job well done.
Successful delivery.
Like, oh, not again. And he ventures off. Zane, you can hear that he's headed off away from the home towards what sounds like a secondary party. Perhaps those servants who have arrived.
Basically, the servants like passing around a bottle of whiskey and
Yeah, more or less the equivalent, right?
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Shed.
it's the jack in steerage spinning around.
Yeah, basically, right?
I'll let myself down if it sounds like there isn't anybody else around.
Doesn't sound like it.
So I'm gonna let myself out of the carriage's underbelly. I'm just gonna make sure that there's no one else around that can potentially interfere with what I'm about to do.
You can see that there are a couple of young men, possibly even boys, who are hitching horses. They're faced away from you. They don't see you. It's dark as well, but they're there, and they're currently, they're hitching horses.
Okay, so I know that there's windows surrounding this estate. What I want to do first is I want to do a circuit around to see if I can find out if there's anybody who's outside who shouldn't be.
Okay, that's absolutely fair. That would involve passing by the front door. There's like essentially a path or a road kind of leading up from the gate.
I would assume that I could go and then double back.
Yeah,
go
for sure.
around.
Okay, cool. That sounds right.
Yeah.
And you're specifically looking. I mean, you're on the hunt for information, but specifically, is there anyone hidden out here?
Yeah, I want to know: are there people who are outside the building who should not be here, or who are trying to make their presence here unknown?
Okay. I mean, it sounds like you're attempting to accomplish something. Yeah. How are you doing that?
I'm prowling.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Okay. I have to ask, just in case you're going to do something a
I
little wild.
am indeed wearing a fine shadow cloak.
Yay!
Excuse me.
And I have equipped dark sight goggles.
Excuse me. Zane, then you will be able to make this circuit. It's a large estate. It will take some time, but you're trying to be thorough to see if there are other people who are concealing their presence or who shouldn't be outside, or
That's right.
anything that's a bit strange. In that case, then, well, I don't necessarily need to offer you anything if you don't want it. This is a prowl. It's a risky action. There are people who are watching, but they seem to be mostly focused inside. Potentially standard effect. You would find what you need to find.
Even if I'm wearing dark sight goggles?
That would absolutely increase the potential quality of the information that you discover.
6.
A success. The name Gast is, to my mind anyway, synonymous to Geist or ghost or anything like that. It's a bit more ghastly. It's a bit more horrible, which doesn't
chance.
it doesn't really jive with you necessarily. But there is something about you in this moment. You're essentially just a shadow, a breath of wind around the estate. You move from bush to bush, shrub to shrub, behind the carriage house, behind some outbuildings. It's a very thorough check, and you do not uncover anyone who is outside that shouldn't be. You
uncover 1,000 people who shouldn't.
And they're all killing you. You do, however, uncover. This is the information that you find. The great effect. The corners of the building are not solid glass. Of course, the corners of the building are made of stone, pitted a little bit, but mostly quite well sculpted, beautiful. On the corner opposite to where the ballroom is, there is evidence that someone has been climbing here recently. There's a stray python, whatever they're called. There's climbing gear that's been left.
Well, I think I'm going to have to hunt this person down.
Okay.
I have hunt.
Yeah.
I have 1 dot of hunt.
You're essentially looking to perhaps track. I mean, I can tell you it's climbing gear that's been left in the wall part of the way up, so it's presumed they went up.
I'm trying to track this particular person to see where they are.
Okay.
You have a devil's bargain for me?
Yeah.
Just going to smoke my eraser while
Yeah, I do, John. I would offer you I would offer you 2 ticks alone on a 6-part clock. I love it. The security detail is on to you.
No, I'll take the stress.
Sounds good.
I don't want the security detail.
I mean, that's fair, honestly.
I don't want the security detail coming on my ass.
Yes.
Yay!
Not feeling reckless quite yet.
Not quite.
The party's just begun.
It's not about that.
Thanks,
That's less
Nancy
about. I mean, I'm already being
Just
reckless,
started.
trailing after somebody who I don't know.
Yeah.
But let's see how we do. 6 and a 5.
I saw a 6. Yeah. Very nice. All right, Zane. Well done. Sorry, gassed. Tonight, it's gassed. It's relatively exceptional gear that's been not abandoned necessarily, but you can tell that the person who was using it to help scale the outside of the building, they had to leave this one piece behind. It got essentially stuck in the stone, which normally, if you're a talented, burglar or thief, you would never try to leave anything behind, but they have. That tells you a couple things, right? 1, maybe they didn't want to risk doing more damage, leaving more evidence themselves behind, or 2, maybe they don't care.
Also, 3, whoever is using this is either independently wealthy or is hooked up
Yeah,
for this business.
very much so. Zane, the path takes you indeed up all 3 stories to the roof.
Do you need a separate roll to see if I can get up there? Or?
No, your hunt is taking you there. That's cool.
I'm on the hunt.
You're on the hunt, exactly. A successful hunt will not let you just find the person necessarily, but we're getting there. Once you've arrived, once you've reached the rooftop, Zane, there are several searchlights that spin slowly, but
Club 747?
yeah.
Club 96.
They spin slowly, but their presence is mostly there to ward off, I don't know, casual passersby, perhaps. It's more of a deterrent than a threat. You don't see another figure on the roof. Presumably, whoever the trail doesn't end here, but presumably it continues across the roof and down the other side.
I mean, I guess my question is, I did the roll for a hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, I could have assumed that the person was probably climbing up to the building.
Oh, that's true. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So, what did I get out of the hunt roll?
Well, what was your stated goal? To find the person.
I wanted to find the person who was
left
climbing
behind.
up here.
That's fair.
I was tracking this person.
Okay. Okay, then in that case,
I mean, I'm not saying that I have to know it. I was just, what information did I get? What did I get out of succeeding in the role?
Bingo.
Yeah.
They have. Well, I'll tell you this. Once you need to scale the roof in order to see this information, so you've arrived. You can now go back down if you want. They've gone off the other side and in through a 3rd floor window on the other side.
Well, I'm just going to follow.
Okay, great. I mean, okay.
Why wouldn't I?
No, why wouldn't you? It's true. You're traversing across the roof. As one of the searchlights passes you, are you doing anything to avoid it?
I'll prowl across the
okay.
roof.
I'm just making sure.
Yeah.
You're doing your best to sort of time it, perhaps,
Yeah.
that the searchlights are there. Okay, great. Cool. There's also like the possibility of like trying to wreck them to turn them off or whatever. I don't
No,
know.
I'm
That
gonna
seems
prowl.
silly. Good.
Do you need that as a roll?
You have a lot of.
I have 4 prowl.
No, I think you would make it across. That's fine.
Why don't we find out? A 5.
Okay.
But I assume that this is a relatively controlled action. I mean, maybe it's not. It's up to you.
Yeah.
I did the roll.
No, I was desperate.
I didn't give a fuck.
No, it's desperate. You're dead now. No, it's fine. You're absolutely correct. It takes time. The timing of the lights isn't perfect, and I think you're perhaps.
I assume it's on a glass ceiling.
No, nothing like that.
I can't look down and be like, "Hi guys."
Hello. Can you imagine? It takes time to cross. The consequence is that it takes time. If you want to make this riskier, you can
Yes.
attempt the roll again at a risky level.
Yes.
Potentially standard
What a
effect.
reckless dude. Wow.
Crit.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty fucking sweet. That's pretty nice.
I'm just counting all these nice rolls and just
Yeah.
That's not how probability works.
I know.
Still though.
It's how probability happens, though.
Yeah.
I'm imagining this sort of almost like a dance that you're doing with the lights as they sort of move across the rooftop.
The lambada. That's a forbidden dance.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You are able to cross the roof in a very short amount of time. So much so, Zane, you watch, as you get to the other side, there's a 3rd floor window immediately below you, which you watch close from the inside.
Bastard.
You've almost, you are near to this, whoever this person is, they've
the
just
3rd
gone
floor?
inside. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to say what I'm going to do,
Okay.
and then I'm going to let you
Yep, of course.
move on if you want. But I'm going to arrange it so that I've got my climbing gear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to set myself up so that I can launch off the side of the building and then just with both feet planted, just smash directly through the window, hopefully knocking over whoever has just closed that window.
You are hoping to catch this person in the act of the whatever they're doing, breaking.
I'm basically flinging myself off the side of the building with a grappling hook and going,
Yes. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have the roll. We're gonna
Okay.
see the consequences,
okay.
and then we're gonna go back to these two.
What kind of a roll is this?
This is a desperate roll. Of course, if you miss this,
Yeah.
you're falling 3 stories straight down. You're not dead. Probably.
Oh no.
Probably not dead, but
I
you
don't
know.
know him.
All right.
My God.
What kind of a devil's bargain can I get with this?
Absolute.
Are you rolling that many dice?
I have 5 dice so far. I can get a 6th.
I mean, unbelievable.
I
You
don't want to
can.
fall off the building.
Incredible.
I'm just curious what this devil's bargain might be.
The devil's bargain that I would offer you would be, well, I mean, the consequences are potentially disastrous, but I would say the bargain I would offer you is that someone will be alerted to your presence because
No,
of the
I'm not
crashing
doing
of
that.
glass. Like, what the hell, man? No, they won't get to you right away. I don't know.
don't
There's
care.
crashing. There's lots of glass here. Okay, fine. All right, fine.
Ready?
Yep. Great results.
5.
Okay. So this is a success with consequences.
Your pants fall. Anyone looking up at that moment can see.
A full moon.
The moon hits their eye like a big pizza pie. Exactly.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, of
Thank
course.
you.
I'm right there.
Play of
with
the
you.
game.
Play
Right there.
of the game. Zane. Gassed. You take a running start at the ledge and leap.
Yep.
Your climbing gear hooks onto the roof behind you as you turn and your feet head towards the beautifully stained glass windows. As they kick through into the soft flesh of the person who is just on the other side. We're going to leave it there for a brief moment. You're going to freeze in midair as we go back to the party at hand. So, I should ask, what are Thistle and Waif attempting to do? The possibilities are endless. Right? I mean, look, there are riches here. The question is whether that's something you want to try to find, or whether you want to try to suss out the Wraith's plans. Are you looking for anything in particular? What are you doing right now?
This isn't as good as the spring function. I just want to be gossiping.
Certainly not, but it has only just begun. I will leave my mind open to the possibility of great things.
I like to think we're just gossiping and sassing this
Much like the
fucking
great
party.
things that you have written, my dear author friend.
Yes, but I was hoping for more inspiration this evening.
Perhaps it should strike on the dance floor. I am
Unbelievable.
attempting to look. I'm checking the crowd. I am looking for a few
checking to make sure
specific
that's
figures.
Okay.
I'm looking for Inspector Valai.
Yeah.
Because he claimed to have documents for this ambassador.
Yeah.
So looking for someone that would match this person's figure specifically.
Okay.
And also blonde women that are of a certain height and shape that maybe are wearing a few extra belts compared to your average person.
Understood.
So specifically I'm looking for Thistle as well. Those are the two.
Telda. But yes. Yes.
Telda.
Right. You find a mirror and.
Oh my god,
Where am I?
Wow! I've gone too deep this time into my cover story. Yeah.
Telda, thank you.
No, it's fine.
Nor my Neil Armstrong.
It's good.
And
Nor my Father O'Malley.
One of my favorites. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So we're on the lookout for them. Is the goal to simply identify whether they're here, or did you want to go talk to them, or are we
Initially, I
concerned?
want to see if I spot them and keep an eye on them, and then beyond that, I would act on it if I see them.
Okay. So, what kind of
So I feel like this is a survey.
you are surveying the room as it
Yes.
stands? Yeah, of course. Yeah. There you go. That's what I have to say. I guess I'll ask Waif at the same time. Do you have any actions specifically that you're taking right now?
Is the ambassador eating or drinking?
Not at the exact moment. Not right this second. No.
Do they have does he have a glass of
Yes.
anything in his hand?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
It's a thick, rich amber liquid. It doesn't look like everybody. You mentioned is anyone else served
Yeah,
another
I'm
drink?
looking for sketchy drinks.
He already had
He
this
has a
one
sketchy
in his hand.
drink.
He's just freebasing off maple syrup.
It's straight
Did he
up,
just
man.
come in with it, or did I notice? if
He was already
anybody-
here when you arrived.
So he had it when I arrived.
Correct.
Do I see any servants holding?
That no, not a one. I will also say that at a quick glance, nobody else seems to have this drink. It's
Yeah.
fancy.
So I want to.
What do you want to? Do you want to do something about it?
Yeah, I do.
I can let you think about it as we head over to the survey.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay.
I would like to argue for this being controlled, as in
Oh yeah.
neither of those people would expect me to be here. We're all masked, but I know exactly what they look like, and I have reasons to believe that they'd be here.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, yeah, that's perfect. It would have standard effect if you succeeded, right? You would
Yeah.
you would take your time and see if those figures are here.
No.
But if he's in there.
But I don't think I have assistance, and I don't think I'm going to push myself for this.
You can
so.
take two stress. You can ask.
I'm
It's a
a
devil's bargain, but you know.
I don't know.
You're like, whatever, I don't know. My devil's bargain for you would be starting a new 4-tick clock. I would tick 1 tick on it, and it would be called Life of the Party. You become the center of attention of the party. By being as just by being as haughty and above it all as you are, this would be.
Do it.
Please, I'm begging you.
Do it.
It's entirely up to you. You get a die.
So good.
You. If this is actually genuine, not just haha.
No, it's
okay.
genuine. I'm so into
I'm
this.
taking the devil's bargain, my friend.
We're marking one segment of a clock called Life of the Party.
Life of a party. Life of. Oh my god.
You won't immediately get Life of the Party when it ticks over doesn't throw you out or whatever. You know what I mean?
No, it just means I'm noticed and sent.
The princess notices you at the following.
6.
Hey! Very good. Very nice.
Oh,
I like to
thanks.
think the devil's bargain die was the one that rolled
Yes,
6.
because the others were a 2 and a 3, so I also feel that.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. From your vantage point here, back to the window, I partially on the stairwell that you saw back in the hallway and partially on the room at large. I don't think it doesn't strike me like Thistle has a ton of experience at this kind of gala, but like, she knows people. She's got a good memory for faces, maybe, I don't know.
She's watched a lot of galas. From like the hedges.
Okay, can you do your creeping expression again? Yay!
It's so good. I love that.
It's so good.
The blonde feminine form with the extra belts is not, you do not see anyone by that description. Inspector Volai, however, is relatively easily spotted out from the crowd. He is wearing a surprisingly garish green mask, and he is laughing loudly at something that the Eruvian ambassador is saying. That's kind of how you know it's him, in the sense that he looks like he's just on the outside of the conversation with the Eruvian ambassador. And he is currently cackling at something the Eruvian ambassador is saying.
Amazing. Remind me, the inspector belongs to...
The inspectors are a group that investigate crimes outside of the purview of the Bluecoats. So they are hired essentially as independent investigators to come in from outside of Duskball to investigate things. Let's say, I don't know, a gang. It's not like turf wars, whatever. People are going to die. It's fine. If a crime is pulled off that is so big that it actually rocks the establishment, you might get an inspector on board to have a look at that.
So, a crime that maybe is about to happen tonight.
Perhaps, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if you'd be here in advance, but it's a good point.
Just in case. So I'm watching to see if there's a moment where the inspector and the ambassador are not together. Because I'm hoping to get the ambassador's attention by drifting around strangely, like I'm looking for something. You know when you're like walking by a group of people in the mall and they're all looking up at the ceiling and so you stop to look up at what they're looking at?
Yeah.
So I'm like going around like this, like I'm, examining walls and stuff, but I'm not like touching anything. I'm not like doing anything I'm not supposed to do.
Just being a weirdo.
I'm just trying to get some attention by being strange.
You were here before.
I like it.
Then if you're trying to get the ambassador's attention, I would try to use that moment to possibly get closer to the inspector. I'll let you do your thing.
Of course.
But I guess we're both...
I feel like we're
suffering
doing
in
this
that-
at the same time. We just kind of drift off and start doing our shit.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Okay, cool. That makes sense to me. You'll most likely be able to pluck his elbow and speak to him if you would like to.
Yeah.
What then are you, how are you doing this? What are you doing?
My pitch to you is that I would get to roll a tune.
Tell me, tell me about that.
Because I'm just trying to be like so weird and so of another level.
Yeah.
But he has to know who this fascinating guest wearing a veil and drifting around the room is. I'm so mysterious.
Okay. Yes. So I like it. I'm gonna tell you.
Yeah.
This is going to be a desperate action, and I'll show my reasoning.
Okay.
It's gonna be desperate with potentially great effect, in the sense that if you attract his attention, his eyes will be on you, and he he would want to talk to you, and he wanted to know where you're from, right? The reason it is a desperate affair. Eruvians as a group of people, or as perhaps as a sort of a culture at large, are incredibly superstitious, and the Eruvian ambassador is no exception. Now you wouldn't know his every detail, of course, unless you tell me why you would. But it's fair to assume that anyone acting particularly out of character could be possessed, possibly. That's all.
Okay.
The consequences, I mean, look, I can't give you the consequences in advance, but it's a potentially desperate affair.
This is my best hope because I am not good at talking to people. I just have to get them to come to me because I'm a weirdo. So this is what I do.
What the hell are you doing here? You don't belong
You don't
here.
belong here.
Exactly. So I'm gonna ask for the devil's bargain.
Yeah, sure.
What do you got? What you got?
The devil's bargain. That's a good question. It's tough because we're all like masked and
Yeah.
it can't be like,
Yeah.
oh, here, take this heat, whatever.
Yeah.
What are your current wounds?
I'm. They're both level 1s,
Yeah.
stressed and burned.
My devil's bargain for you is that. No, I can't do that. That's fine. My devil's bargain for you is that you will attract, if this is successful, you will attract the attention of the Aruvian ambassador and of his of some of his entourage. So it will be a group of people who are hounding you for information. He will lead them, but they will be on you, so to speak.
We do have a life of the party here. How does it impact that?
That's a good question. Well, the life of the party hasn't ticked over yet.
Okay, so it's not until the clock is full?
Correct.
I will take it
Okay.
on the hope that...
So, can you, specify that last detail? I was just plotting out my next move.
Oh, of course.
So,
The devil's bargain that I'm
yeah,
offering,
yeah.
Liz, is that if this is successful, it will attract not only the Aruvian ambassador, who would be like, holy, whatever
Yeah.
it is, but also a number of his entourage.
Okay.
More eyes on
Okay.
Waif.
I don't think I can help in that.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
If I can just wait out the clock until you become the life of the party.
Exactly. We're just each waiting for the other person to become the
Exactly.
center of attention.
That's how we work a room. Oh no.
Oh,
4.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, for
That's still a
fuck.
success with
It
consequences.
is. It's
It is
still a success.
It is a success.
But it was a desperate action.
Was a desperate action. Did you mark your XP?
No, sorry. Wait, I get that too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you roll a
Everybody gets that.
desperate action.
Ah,
My
Just
my
one,
thing is
right?
that I get an extra die to a desperate action.
that's what it is. So I get just one, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Mark that up.
The consequence I'm going to impose on you, which of course you can resist, if by paying stress and then rolling to doing your thing. This is going to have reduced effect. You wanted to get his attention.
Yeah.
He will give you his attention for a time.
Okay. I'll take that.
That's standard effect rather than great.
Yeah. I'm okay with this.
The devil's bargain is still in effect, however.
Yes.
Describe to me again what you're doing, essentially, Wade.
So I'm wandering around. I have I've decided that I have arcane implements in my gear.
Yeah, as you would.
A vial of quicksilver, a pouch of black salt, a spirit anchor in the form of a small stone, a spirit bottle, a vial of ectoplasm designed to break and splatter on impact.
I want to be very clear to everybody. The only one I heard in that list was black salt because it smells like farts. All right. The pouch of fart smell. I'm kidding. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think I have like a small stone, and I'm just kind of like doing that. And I'm walking around.
Out of the corner of your eye, and Thistle, you see this a lot more clearly. The Aruvian ambassador literally goes, shut up, to Volai, who's like trying to say something to him. He goes, hey. And he notices Waif's strange behavior. A look comes over his face, Waif, one of dark curiosity. The hangers-on around him also turn and notice and start to sort of titter and giggle. And he sweeps through the crowd towards you. And he immediately, Waif, takes your two hands and grasps you around the waist and one hand around your hand holding the stone in the style of a waltz. And he begins to dance.
I will dance with him.
Very poorly.
I want to dance with somebody.
Maybe the ambassador or somebody.
Unless I can tinker this dance.
Let's not push yourself too much
Made
here.
yourself
You just
robot
gotta take
dance
it out.
legs.
Robot dance
The tap shoes from Simpsons.
Yeah. Whoa.
You should have invented some dancing shoes.
I know, and I'm so far behind on all my long-term projects.
Oh, you've
soft
had to do
shoe.
so much.
This
I get
is
it,
awful. I keep getting
Your
shot.
soul silencers, right? Or
Yeah.
your silent souls.
My
Yeah.
God, your feet, they're so quiet. The Eruvian ambassador stands a good head taller than you. He's not necessarily powerfully built, but he is relatively strong. There is a scent coming off of him. It's sort of like a sandalwood, sort of a almost musky spice. It's not unpleasant, Waif, unless you hate that sort of thing, which is very possible.
It's lovely.
He's not wearing a mask, and his dark eyes bore into yours as he says, "Who is this vision that has come into my gala?"
So my veil is so almost opaque.
Yep,
that
he can't see your face. That's
I
correct.
can
Yeah,
barely make eye contact with him, but I do try.
he can barely see your face. Yeah, that's correct.
You are very grounded and light on your feet. A beautiful
dichotomy.
Sure, that's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
As he sort of pulls you further away onto the dance floor, his hangers-on essentially pair up and start dancing to follow. Right?
Creepy.
I must know where you are from. It is not every day that we have such spiritual power at galas like these.
Oh, you flatter me.
The people of Duskval are empty inside, are they not?
Maybe you're not looking hard enough.
I have tried. I have not been here long, but these people are husks. They are only fake mirth, joyless laughs. Tell me, what is it this city lacks? His grip tightens around the stone in your hand. What is it?
It's a spirit stone.
His grip
Spirit.
tightens
Anchor
around
stone.
the anchor stone in your hand. What are you doing here?
Can you keep a secret?
I lean in close.
His smile widens, his perfect teeth gleaming against his skin. Of course.
I'm researching my next book.
How to Fuck a Ghost, Volume 2.
Volume 2. His eyes narrow as he continues to dance with you. A book. On the arcane.
Among other things, yes. There is such beauty in the arcane, if you have the strength to not look away. It weaves the most intoxicating passages.
His face begins to grow very concerned at this.
Have you never read a book about ghosts before?
Of course I have. But I do not meddle with the spirit world. It is far too dangerous.
I'm sure the spirit world would not want to meddle with you. You seem very strong and stalwart.
We're going to leave Waif dancing with the Eruvian ambassador, and did you want to? You wanted to get Inspector Belize's
Approach, the inspector. I guess as these hangers on are moving. I guess I would. My hope is to flow in and pick him as a dance partner.
Of course, absolutely. He looks very like, should I just? You know what I mean? He's just like, but no, yeah.
And I'm happy to dance in the direction that he seems to want to be moving, aka probably following the ambassador.
He is keeping eyes on the ambassador. Yeah.
Now, I know we are masked, but I must admit I recognized you.
I think I know that voice. Do I not?
We have crossed paths.
Oh, so many mysteries here in Duskval.
There is something quite grave set to happen this evening at this party.
Despite the fact that his mask is almost a full one, you can kind of see his face contort behind it.
And I know you are a person who would deal with the aftermath. I hope that you are someone who can prevent it from becoming aftermath.
What is going to happen?
There are individuals here with some sort of powder, toxin, I don't know exactly what. Was it liquid in the vials or powder?
Powder.
Powder. They have plans of destruction, and I believe it is to happen here. I hope to prevent it, and I hope that you have others here who can help prevent it.
My gods. I have heard nothing of this. How do I know I can trust you that this is not some ploy to drive me away from the ambassador?
I hope that Booker, Clermont, and Savoy served your needs.
All three at the same time. No, he nods tentatively. You do not know what kind of threat it is, simply destruction. What should we hunt for? I can rally the guard, I think.
I fear that if they know that we're onto them, they will either flee or enact the plan hastily.
Why are our enemies never out in the open here, in Duskfall?
They were at night market as well.
I see. I do not know to what I owe the pleasure of your company or your tip-off, but I appreciate it.
And I will continue to discuss whatever seems relevant until the end of the dance, and then probably separate
Yeah.
at the end of the dance, like little bow and stuff.
The dance takes as well you, Waif, and the Eruvian ambassador by his sort of small table on which is this goblet of amber liquid. He releases you and looks concerned.
Oh, that's beautiful.
He projectively moves to take it.
The drink, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. As you say, Duskfall is at times an empty husk.
Distilled from the purest spirits of Eruvia. I should clarify, spirits like alcohol, not spirits. Yeah, we're not drinking ghosts. Yeah,
I get all fluttered
when I think of drinking ghosts. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Is that so?
He goes to take a drink.
Oh, it is far too rich for my blood, but I wonder if I could ask you. Could I try a sample?
And I reach for the glass, not touching it, but
Okay. His what he's going to do is take a step back from you in shock.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Where are my manners?
There are immediately two Imperial guards at his. Imperial guards. There are two people who have been assigned to his detail at his side. They are partially masked. Mm-hmm. They are armed and armored.
I came here because the Horde spirits called me to. Have you never heard of them before?
Never.
When there is something truly awful, a theft of the most appalling degree, they hover like vultures circling. They have congregated around here, and they are hungry, and they are waiting. I think you are in great danger, Your Excellency.
His face, once again, kind of a shadow passes over it. And then he is nothing but smiles and laughs. The fortune teller wants to tell me that I am in danger in my own home. He turns to the guard on his left. I believe our author friend has overstayed her welcome. She has more than enough material for her next exploit, I believe. Thank you. I hope to see you at the gala next year, and not again until then. He snaps his fingers, and the guards take Waif.
fair enough.
They go
take her away.
They are.
Take her away.
Exactly.
Unless you are struggling, they are guiding you towards the
No,
front
I'm not
door.
struggling. I'm trying to think of a sneaky way to get the drink, and I don't think I can.
Collapse in tears.
what would you do with it?
You
Like you
make
just
it
you don't want him to drink it, kind of thing?
I want a sample of it. My flashback action was going to be like sewing a vial into my dress, so when I take the drink to drink it under my veil, I could pour it down my sleeve.
Your décolletage.
Exactly. This was my plan.
Okay. Paint me a picture of a desperate action that you, well, a desperate action of an action that you can take that would maybe convince him to get, or if you want to try to grab it.
No, I don't want to get shot up.
So
That
you're
is honestly
dancing
fair.
with a guard, right? Like the guard comes to you, you grab him with the dance, but then you do make him do a very low dip. You send your foot up high, you kick the bottom of the glass, it goes up, you snatch it out of the
That's pretty awesome.
You fling your hands up in surprise that you're being caught, and you spill the glass slightly, just enough for a drop.
How
to
does
get
it end
in.
up in my décolletage?
Yeah,
I have to go, woo!
You're gonna have to really get your décolletage in there, I think. Yeah.
faint against him.
This is what I was thinking.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's doable.
What are the chances I'm going to get stabbed? Probably pretty high.
No, I mean, it's
I'll come
unlike
see
like
that.
if you're playing that you're fainting against him.
Okay.
They're not gonna be like,
I
oh, kill her right away.
I swoon.
Oh shit.
Oh, my corset! I start to go down.
Classic. Blame the corset.
That
Always.
makes sense.
That's the dressmaker's
It wasn't
fault.
fitted properly. A properly fit corset is very comfortable.
Yeah, like I will say that part of why. Oh, I should have been rolling -1 to everything.
Okay.
Well, not necessarily everything. It's if a cracked rib would affect
Okay,
it.
that's
Right.
true. I haven't been doing anything too physical, but
Yet.
I'm gonna do something to remind myself of that
Yeah.
moving forward.
Crack your own
to-
rib.
But my thought is that my
Just
corset is like helping my ribs stay set. Is part of why I'm like.
Sorry, that is
Yeah.
a
Oh
horrible
my,
image.
very nice.
Okay.
Oh Jesus! Why do I always do this?
We're going to start the process of this roll.
Yeah.
How are you gonna? I know what you're doing, but what would you sort of? How would you describe it? I guess like I'm looking for the action rating that would be appropriate here.
This
That's
is
tough.
it.
You're rolling manipulation performance is what you're rolling.
Yeah.
But I know that's not the system.
and I'm
so
trying to
just
think of a
kidding.
way I can make it a toonie.
Hmm.
Oh. Okay. Hold
up
on a
actions
minute.
here.
Maybe there's something I can do.
Maybe there's something that.
This would be finesse, right? You're employing misdirection.
Not
essentially.
good.
Okay.
Maybe you can get Thistle to do it.
To do.
To assist.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how could I have assisted this plan
In the
in the preparation? Yeah. Knowing, so if I had known that your plan all along was to try to get a sample of whatever was being consumed, then I could have, in my, I guess this isn't necessarily foresight. Well, whatever. It's an assist without paying stress.
Yeah.
Tell me how you prepared for this. So, knowing that this was Thistle's plan,
Yeah, and
would have conferred.
Leaf would have been pretty.
seeing that you were dancing off with the ambassador,
about
I
that.
would have been dancing with the inspector towards him,
Uh-huh.
and I will accidentally bump into the ambassador.
Oh, okay.
Oh, very nice.
To get him slightly closer as you're
Yes.
fainting towards him. The other thing I could say, so I love it, and we're going to give you +1 die to your roll,
Cool.
Sweet.
and it doesn't cost stress, but it's one of your two. This could potentially be, you could potentially be sort of swaying.
That doesn't help me either.
You could be skirmishing as well if
Nope.
you're entangling them in close
No.
combat. You will get a die to roll, right? Even if you have 0, you have +1.
Yep.
You can pay 2 stress as well to push yourself on this action.
The only other thing I can think of.
I am so thrilled. Go ahead. And then we're coming right back
It's
to you,
a
John.
terrible idea.
Okay.
Is that part of my arcane kit
Oh, fuck's sake. Okay,
is Quicksilver, and I could just drink it.
To do what?
A toxic metallic fluid the user's mind opens further to the ghost field. Take +1 to attune roll upon use. Suffer level 2 harm. Zoned out.
Oh my god!
Just go
I don't know if
fully
that'll help
batshit.
you.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it's
Because
gonna
you're not
help.
making an attune roll.
Yeah.
I could.
You might later.
Yeah.
You might later, but in this moment, like, unless you're using, unless you want to use the ghost field
I'm
to
what you would call specialized.
You're specialized in attune and tinker. That's what you are.
That's right.
this like, unless you want to attune yourself to the ghost field in that instant.
There's a part of me that thinks maybe that would be a good thing to do. What went wrong with the hellhound? Really?
Apart from burning things down,
Yeah.
it could be possible to reach out spiritually and so to speak and tip the cup to you.
Oh.
If you're using your powers of attuning to the ghost field, this is going to be potentially. I mean, it's going to be very risky. It's going to be desperate.
Yep.
You're gonna
More
let
so
loose
than-
spirits in the gala.
At the gala.
Why couldn't you just get like an eyedropper and just go? Whoop?
I'd love to. I didn't expect him to lose confidence in me so soon.
Yeah, it's true, eh?
I was spinning a great yarn.
The alternative is a risky action to pretend to pass out, but then you're essentially at that point. I think you're rolling finesse.
Well, that's it. I'm either rolling one die with the help of.
And you can push yourself.
so
Take 2 stress, and then you're rolling 2
two.
dice.
The alternative is rolling a tune, which has a better pool, but possibly more disastrous consequences.
Correct.
Or you could accept a devil's bargain. And,
true.
You know, because that worked out for you so well the last
This
time.
is true. What would be the devil's bargain on my? I guess we'll say that this was sway or finesse. Either way, it's 0.
Yeah.
If
On
I'm just
finesse?
fainting.
The devil's bargain I would offer you is that the last person you were seen speaking to is going to be implicated in your fainting. There's potentially going to be heat directed at the last person you were seen talking to that they caused you to undergo the stress that you're now under. It's Morian, right?
Oh, not.
Not the
Not the
ambassador.
Aruvian
No,
ambassador?
Before the ambassador.
Okay.
Oh.
I think you were speaking to anyone else before that.
So in other words, will that tick up her clock, or?
All right, let's do
No,
this
I don't
thing.
think so.
I'm gonna roll finesse, push myself, and take the help for 2.
Yes. You're pushing yourself by taking 2 stress.
Yes,
Okay, so
correct.
not the devil's bargain is what
No,
I'm
I'm gonna take 2 stress, and
And then we're
I'll
right
just
back to you.
go on another date.
Sure.
Fucking hell.
Maybe this one's going to be more interesting.
5.
That's a success.
It sure is.
Wave tips forward. Yeah. Eyes right back of your head. As
Dancing with the inspector, and I separate from him, and as I bow, I bump my elbow or lift my skirts or whatever. I jostle the drink. Yeah.
Ha! And so he, almost in slow motion, this drink of golden amber liquid spills. Several drops spill and land in the vial.
In my décolletage.
Your décolletage. Yes. You are collapsed against. Well, the 2 guards have caught you before you collapse against the inspector, the ambassador, and they start to take you away.
I'll dedicate my book to the ambassador as I get dragged away.
I start making profuse apologies.
Of course. Wave, you can feel the liquid in this vial pulse with an energy that you do not understand.
Fun. I get all tingly.
As the liquid enters the vial, the sound, you can't hear this, of course, the sound of shattering glass is heard by the camera, heard by the audience, not you guys. Yeah.
Okay.
Upstairs. Are you? Yeah.
The food is here.
Yeah. Here?
Way too early. Well, somebody just buzzed in.
Oh, okay.
Gasp.
I just saw it nearby. That's Liz. I just mean Liz. Hold up.
Hello.
At the exact moment that the liquid enters this vial, upstairs,
Boop, boop, boop.
Gast is smashing 3 feet first through a stained glass window and directly on top of the form of a masked intruder. They are clad all in black.
Is it a wraith mask?
It is a wraith mask.
Oh, God.
You punch into them feet first and tumble through the window. This was a desperate action. You rolled a 5.
Mm-hmm.
The consequence is the last 3 ticks on your clock. Zane needs to know. Are you resisting this consequence?
Zane needs to know.
Yeah. This was a clock that was started, I should tell the audience, off stream. It occurred a number of times when, it has been ticked up a few times when Zane has found himself, I think, confronted by things beyond his understanding. And, at least in my mind, it's a drive to sort of understand the things that you're messing with.
I accept this consequence. Do I accept this consequence?
Oh, why not?
I mean,
We're
I
already
could resist it.
You could. If you choose to resist it, I will make it only the 2 of the 3 ticks on this clock. I leave it to you, though.
No, I'll just take it. I'll take
This is
it.
our wed. I like Gateway. I like you almost as much as I like Gateway. That's a really good one.
I'll take it.
Zane, you land on top of the form of this wraith, who immediately begins to struggle against the weight of you. The figure is able to roll you over and doesn't stand, but rather looks into your face. Are you masked as well? You have your goggles.
I mean, I'm wearing my dark sight goggles and I'm in my shadow cloak. I am concealing my face.
She looks at you, and you can feel a breath being drawn in, and then Telda takes the mask off.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Good. You're here. Are you ready? I know it's you. Those silly goggles, that cloak, all your drama can't hide what you are. And that is my brother, my partner, the one who will be left standing with me after tonight. She grips you by the neck. Answer me.
You forgot. I'm the ambassador.
She releases ever so slightly and just is like, I know you. You are an ambassador of nothing.
I'm the ambassador of Kick Your Assider.
And I think we're going to end this session right here. Right here. Yes, I absolutely can, Kate. I'm sorry about the
In
timing
fact,
on
we
that.
can reenact it.
All right.
John, Zane landed on top of a figure that was, a dark figure with a wraith's mask. Yeah, exactly. Who rolled him over and then said, I know, I can tell who you are. You're my brother. You're my partner. You're the one who's going to be left standing with me after tonight. Say that you'll help
You
me.
forgot one thing. I'm the ambassador.
No.
You specifically said I was the
And then I said,
ambassador
no,
of...
you're an ambassador of nothing.
I'm the ambassador of Kick Your Assider.
Oh my god.
And then,
I mean, what you
The
can't
fight
see is that I'm
begins.
like lashing out with my foot underneath the table, but
I think we know what you're doing. Okay.
Oh my
This
god.
brings us to the end of the session. We are mid-score, which is a bit funky, and I am aware of this.
Funky cats.
Whoa! It does mean we're going to do our... hi, everyone in the chat. Welcome to the end of the stream on Scott's secluded corner.
Diplomatic immunity.
it's been revoked.
It's so good. We are going to do our usual, questions that we like to ask. We like to make sure that players are here figuring out what's going on. And then we're mid-score, but we are going to do experience.
Yay.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
We'll
we're going to
need
do
it.
experience.
We suck.
And the question is whether or not we'll do additional experience at the end of the score or just at the end of next session if there's more that happens. But let's start with. I mean, thank you. First of all, I think that was a lot of fun. We're right mid action here. I'm gonna start down at the end of the line with Liz.
Hello.
Liz, what did you learn? And would you like to highlight the play of another person? Scooter's Salacious Social.
I learned, I already knew it, but it was really driven home that Waif is terrible at talking to people. So she has to get creative with getting people to notice her, and sometimes that's to disastrous effect.
That's it, right?
I loved the fact that Thistle has so many secret identities. I love it so much. And Kate, you just like drift from persona to persona, and it's so good. I love it. I love that this has become a thing, and I hope there are many, many more.
I feel like the playbook of the spiders, it's the person who stays at home and is just like, manipulating all the strings, doing all the stuff beforehand. But Molly Danvers, aka Morian Danfield, is like absolutely I'm in the action with this fake identity person, which is great.
So good.
I love it. We'll go to you.
Yeah. Learning how we keep getting further and further into the thick of it, rather than being on the periphery, like listening in or, sneaking in while no one's home. We're just literally gonna walk up to the ambassador and smash in a window. So I'm learning how to be in the thick of it. Rather than trying to be, because as much as I have been taking on these personalities, it's been like a way to keep the shadows around us. Mm-hmm. Whereas, yes, that's right, because we're shadows. Figuring out how to then also step forward and further and further into the limelight. And I want to highlight Zane for straight up choosing to crash through the window.
Yeah,
that is a ballsy fucking move. It is.
Fucking
I want to catch this person and I'm not going to let them get away. Going for it, not
You've
being
caught
like,
her.
I could prowl more,
Yeah.
right? You chose something more. You chose something more daring, and it's nice.
Yeah.
You're leaning into that risky.
Yeah, I read the shadows thing. I think there is the score is quite broad, right? There's the possibility of enriching yourselves here.
Yeah.
Certainly, you could pick a
Yeah,
pocket.
we could have just
you
been
could just go find some jewels.
Wait for them to drop the evil powder and steal some loot and go home.
Exactly. But the choice is being made by this crew to do something specific, and I don't think it's all out of petty revenge against the Wraiths. I think a lot of it is, perhaps, but there's definitely an angle to it of they're going to do something that's bad, and we need to involve ourselves on the side that's going to win. And that's what I think anyway. John, what about you?
I think I've learned that Zane wishes that things weren't personal, and yet it's very, very intensely personal.
This is it.
And it kind of has been from the beginning. You're going to take you're going to take the person who serves me bread bowls, I'll kill you. You're going to accuse me of not belonging on the pleasure barge, I'll get your ass thrown overboard, right? I think that it is personal for him, and I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
I sorry to interrupt the flow here. I feel like when the character was pitched, right, it was a pretty clear tension already. It was I want to be really good and let everybody know that I'm really good at not being found out.
Yeah.
Right? It's already, that tension is there.
He's a mess.
Yeah, we love him though.
We're all pretty messy.
I love the fact that when Waif is in over her head, she still has her eyes on the prize. Mm-hmm. That she goes for it, even though it's oh, fuck. But then there's no giving up. You could have just been I guess I just get escorted out. Oh well. You're no, I'm getting that fucking drink. And if I have to, push myself, if I have to get help, I'm going to find a way to get this thing. Mm-hmm. Because I entered this in the only way that Waif knows how. And I'll get out of it
The only way
on my terms.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate the fact that despite the fact that there's this wackiness,
there's also that, no, the goal is here. Let's get to the goal.
Thank you.
Love that. Yeah, for sure. Awesome. No, I agree.
Scott, I gotta say,
Yes.
I feel like you are tying loose ends together, but
Doing our
like
best.
you're pacing it because we know that today isn't the last session. You know, like we know that that's not happening, but like you've got that pace going that I'm like, oh man, now I really want to find out what happens. Like it's always such a good thing when I'm ending a session. I'm like, it's not just that was a good session, but also like, no, when the fuck's the next
But like,
session?
what's the next thing that's going to happen here? Well, there you go. It's a gala. You got to have grand plans at a gala. Otherwise, what's the point?
Do we have to have galas in all of our games?
Yes.
from now on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
G in
I've-
RPGClinic
It's-
is actually gala.
It's the Royal
Role-play.
Role-playing gala. Yes, sorry.
Role playing gala.
Royal
clinic.
Polo. I was going to say. I don't know why.
Polar.
Polar gala.
We're
Because we're in Canadian. I like this. This is...
Nice.
There it is. I like it. Yeah, it's no, it's really cool. Thank you. I'll take it. Yeah, it's really, really cool to see where the story is going and what people think is the most important. when there's little direction given, but there's still an event, right? Like I wanted it to be sort of open, and we're cutting to the chase now for sure. But what have we found and what have we decided to prioritize, right? You've managed to warn someone here with some clout and some power that something's going down, but what is it? What is he going to do about it, right? You've managed to secure some of the special drink that the Aruvian ambassador is drinking, which theoretically could just be a drink, and you just risked a lot to get some.
Which are exciting, your Juminos.
That's right.
Well,
they're exciting my Juminos,
So
and now
that's
I can brew my own.
something is
Worst
special
case.
about it then, right?
This is a win-win as
exciting
far as I'm
Juminos.
concerned.
And Zane is going to perhaps accomplish his goal of taking down the wraiths. One
least
wraith
one
at a time.
wraith.
I was going to say one wraith at a time.
but I've ticked up my clock. The Zane must know.
Yeah.
So that's going to come into play.
Is it completed?
It is done.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was the consequence.
Yeah, I heard it being discussed from down the hall. I wasn't sure if you went for it.
If I mitigated it, it still would have almost been complete. And I'm like, no, fuck it, we're going for it.
Okay. We're going to do experience.
Yay!
En bref. We're going to do it briefly here. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming up this week. We'll start with do we have the cruise sheet in front of us here? Yes, we'll start with that. And then again, I'm not 100% sure yet whether next session will get full XP because it's still the middle of the same score. But I think y'all deserve some XP because it's fun.
Did we execute a successful espionage, sabotage, or theft operation?
We're in the middle of
Yeah,
one.
so not yet.
So no. Did we contend with challenges above our current station?
Yes.
You quite literally said out loud that we did.
Damn it.
Did we bolster our crew's reputation or develop a new one? Oh,
Not
I
yet.
don't think so.
I don't think so. Did we express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of the crew? I think absolutely.
Always
when
and
we're talking
forever,
Rowan.
the way that people are interacting with the score is making that more clear.
So that's 2 experience for the crew.
Again, some of these may come into play at the end of next session, right? Which is partially why we're going to do this twice. Liz, start down there again.
I already marked down when I rolled my desperate action.
Yeah. Did you tinker or wreck something or whatever the actually? There's a term.
No, I did not address the challenge with technical skill
you.
or mayhem. But I did express my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background.
I would argue
feel.
in a way that was perhaps dangerous. So yeah.
I also
agree.
struggled with issues from my vice. In the sense that my vice is
Yes, like you. Yeah. You
like
need
I would
to
say
be-
between those two, I would put forward a case for
Of
2
course, of
XP
course.
for myself.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
John.
Did I address the challenge with stealth or evasion? I'd argue multiple times.
Yes. Yes.
Have I expressed my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background? Yes. This session, I think, is the first time that I did.
Yeah, we haven't met. We don't even know if the civils are at this gala. But
Yeah.
you mentioned that it was personal for you that they were there and that you didn't want to see them. Is that?
Did I struggle with issues from my vice or traumas during the session? I launched myself through a window because I'm being
I
reckless.
agree.
So there it is.
Okay, good. We'll move on down to Kate.
I addressed a challenge with calculation or conspiracy.
100%.
I express my beliefs, drives, heritage, or background. I feel like I'm moving towards like kind of doing good rather than just enriching us. So I feel like that's
the backstory we kind of like had for Thistle, and again, you know, it wasn't fully flushed out all of it, but that it was like, you know, leaving these law offices as a legal assistant was kind of precipitated by stealing some blueprints and so on and so forth, right? By trying to make scores for yourself.
Yeah.
But maybe you never left behind that innate sense of
law and justice. And I feel like it was through a sense of my own, through a sense of this city and this system doesn't do what I want it to do.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do what I want it to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't think, though, I struggled with issues from my vice or traumas during this session.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Done. Boom.
Do I add an extra dot in sway or command?
Oh.
You are in the midst of grappling with Telda. Just put that out there. That's probably the next time you might attempt a social action.
All right, I'm just going to do a +1
Although
next
you
to
are,
this and I'll figure
I
it out
seem
later.
to recall you were in the midst of kicking her in the
Kick your ass at her.
or kick your ass at her, that's right.
Because
Well,
I'm
that
the
was
ambassador.
right. Of kick your ass at her.
Kick Your Ass at Her.
That was... It's weird.
That's creepy.
Just a highlighted blank
Just a
message
se-
from no one and nothing.
Oh! Becoming offenders, did you do that? That was a lot of fun. So I want to thank you guys, because I'm always having a blast when I'm sitting down in this chair and kind of building the world with you and figuring out what the story is on the fly. Coming up this week, we have streams in the RPG Clinic community. I personally have a weird week. No Tuesday stream for me. I have a rehearsal for a shoot. However, I am going to be finishing my doomed scenario tomorrow. You can catch me at 10 a.m. Eastern, which is a weird time, but it's to accommodate the Crosshair, who I play with, who is not in this time zone, but also, you know, decent time for me. So join us for the conclusion of that scenario of Doomed tomorrow at 10 a.m. and then Tuesday evening, no stream for me.
Tuesday, I might actually steal it.
Oh, steal stream, of course.
I may not be able to stream Wednesday. So either Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll have some more of JE's V, doing some more Cyberpunk 2020, Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk 2020 sucks. I'm telling you that right now. It's not a good year for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, Cyberpunk 2077. So that's what you can look forward to from me coming up.
You do it.
Things go straight to Friday.
I think we can go straight to Friday.
Friday, we are continuing Punch Lord and the Friends. We're playing Guardians of the Galaxy on Team Punchy on my channel.
Are they still friends? They get so mad at each other
Yeah, they're
sometimes.
yelling at each other a lot.
So sad.
Saturday, we are doing Drew Crew.
I think, yes,
Yeah.
Drew Crew, yes. I probably don't have a stream in the evening because I believe we have something to attend that night. I seem to recall something.
Possibly. I'll double check the calendar.
Actually, it's definitely going to be Tuesday. I'm not streaming on Wednesday
That's
at all.
it. Yeah, we have a thing on Wednesday.
Right.
However, Sunday?
Back here, this channel, this time with our next episode of Blades in the Dark, continuing the gala affair, I guess the ambassador's affair.
It's the
Ambassador Affairs.
The Ambassador Affair.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Scott,
Yes, sir.
thank you for the wonderful game.
Thank you for the wonderful game.
You're welcome. The 5. Oh,
Yeah.
there it is. Thank you all so much. It's been a wonderful, wonderful night, and it's always a great time. I would strongly suggest to those people who can to go out and get vaccinated. There's bivalent COVID boosters out there in the world now. I got mine just recently, along with a flu shot for the first time in many years.
Bundled.
It's a good
Free
year
for
to get the flu
everyone in
shot.
Quebec.
100%, yeah. So
The flu season this year is going to be not good, but the vaccine is apparently pretty effective
They
against
picked
it.
the right variant to pump out
guesswork,
vaccines for.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So there you go. I mean, we're all about health and safety and fun here on RPG Clinic. So I would recommend that you go get them. I have heard, though, that you can find your vaccines if you go this way, and then if you go that way. See you next time.
Bye.